Ladies and gentlemen, yes indeed, Five Fave Fives is today at 5. I am so sorry that I wasn't better about getting a schedule up, an accurate schedule with an accurate representation of our schedule for this part of the month. I have it labeled as the January 2021 because even though we're doing it in February, it was originally planned to go live in January. I think we originally planned for it to be like January 29th or something like that, or January 30th even. But that didn't happen. So here we are, February 4th. And I am quite excited here. This is actually one of the smallest windows that we've ever had in between Five Fave Fives. It's tied with the last week, actually. The last time we also had a 10-week window. This is the second time that we've only had a 10-week window. And it's very interesting because I feel like we've had Wrestle Kingdom, which is huge. We've had Stardom. They did their amazing 1220 show that was included in this. We got TLC. We got the Royal Rumble as far as WWE goes. I think we had the New Year's Evil from NXT. I don't think that this includes War Games, though. If it does, I'm just forgetting it. But this is a very interesting 2-month grading period here, basically. It totals up to 10 weeks, though. So, John, how are you feeling about our Five Fave Fives here, knowing that we had such a small grading period to work with?
Bro, I feel really good about it. You know, this is my favorite series that we do. I am so excited to unveil with you guys how my lists have been shaken up in a major way. And yeah, I will say too, the other list, of course, I always struggle with that, but I think Ashton and I came to a consensus. I'm going to start treating other, and I think he is too, of people that we know of, and either we've like seen a little bit of, but really just want to make more of a point to check in on maybe in the next quarter and see how they do there. So that made it easier for me because other's always been the hardest one. But guys, I am so excited, particularly to talk about my New Japan list and my Stardom list, which just shows at heart. I'll always believe that TWitWoW is a Japanese wrestling channel first and everything else just second. So
that's definitely what we've evolved into over the years for sure.
Yeah, so I'm excited. You know, whenever you're ready to get started, man, I'm ready to jump into this.
All right. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first for our first list, our WWE list for honorable mentions?
You know what? I'm really excited, but I like holding it in, so you go first.
Oh, geez. Okay. Just remember, if I go first here, that means that I'm also going to end up going last on the last thing. So I'm going to, like, bookend this entire commentary going first and last.
That's fine by me.
All right. So first up is our WWE list. For those of you that are new to the channel or just need a reminder of the rules that we go by here, our WWE list consists exclusively of Raw and Smackdown superstars. And I personally, this sort of grading period, I actually went out of my way to try my best to order my mentions from least to most, basically from the lowest to the highest, like from the person that is the closest to falling off the list all the way up to the person that is the most sort of brink, like on the edge, close to breaking into the top 5, into the Fave 5 itself. So going from bottom to top here, Bobby Lashley, Naomi, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, who is new to the main roster, Bianca Belair, Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Cesaro, Sasha Banks, Ruby Riott, Billie Kay, Liv Morgan, Mustafa Ali, and Big E.
Very nice. Very nice. That makes me curious who actually made your Five Fave Five.
Here's a spoiler for you. I will give you a straight up spoiler about my WWE Fave 5. Every single member of the Fave 5 itself is a SmackDown performer.
You know what, bro? Same. So to go through my honorable mentions, John Morrison, Bayley, Big E.
Is this in any particular order?
I tried to make it that way. I'm going to tell you right now that I don't think every honorable mention should be taken as like gospel, as like a particular order, particularly New Japan and Stardom. But yeah, I think for WWE and NXT, you could say that this is a particular order.
Okay.
I think. So yeah, just to go through it again.
Morrison,
Bayley, Big E, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Shinsuke Nakamura, Naomi, Asuka, Drew McIntyre, Apollo Crews, The Hurt Business, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan.
Okay, I can tell you right now that out of your honorable mentions, I have 3 members of my Fave 5.
Nice. All right. So who
Starting
came
with
in at
someone, yeah, I was just going to say, starting at number 5, somebody that was not in your honorable mentions, but I'm guessing will absolutely be in your Fave 5, Sami Zayn.
Nice, dude.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep, Sammy's been still killing it lately. I love the episode of Smackdown where he handcuffed himself to the guardrail and was protesting. That was hilarious. If I remember correctly, he was very, very, very briefly in the Royal Rumble. I don't think he lasted long at all in the Rumble. But really, the only complaint I have about Sammy is that I just want to see him wrestle more at this point. I think that his comedy work, his character itself, it's all 100% brilliant, on point, amazing. His Twitter game is just fucking transcendent. He's just a great overall performer, and you know someone's a great overall performer when I even go out of my way to include social media in that overall.
Yes. So yeah, I guess are you good? Because I'll go into my number 5.
Go ahead,
okay.
Number 5 for you.
So number 5 for me, the boss, Sasha Banks.
Nice.
You know you have to be good when your promo skills more or less suck as a face, just being honest. And yet you still crack my top 5. Her wrestling's impeccable. You know, I love watching her compete. I love watching her perform. And God, if she would just turn heel, especially given the match that I really want from her, that being her versus Bianca at Mania, we would be cooking some serious goddamn business. But I do think she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. I don't know if I'd say the best, because in an alternate reality, Sasha would have already tested her mettle against the Stardom roster. That's just my 2 cents. But, I mean, she's definitely top 10, if not even top 5 to me. She's kind of a once-in-a-generation talent for me, especially in women's wrestling, which has historically been maligned for so many years, particularly in the U.S. So I think Sasha's definitely a credit to the women's wrestling happening there. That's why she's number 5. So number 4 for you. Who came in at number 4 for you?
Yes, number 4 for me, the only woman on my WWE list, which is, again, another spoiler, is Bayley. Surprisingly enough to you, I would imagine, because you had Sasha on your list, and you had we both had Ruby and Liv in our honorable mentions. I had Sasha in my honorable mention as well. But Bayley comes in at number 4 for me. I just feel like she's just consistently been doing great work. Even like the obstacle course thing, as poorly booked as she was, and as far out of WWE went to make her look stupid, the execution on her end was still just turning chicken shit into chicken salad. She's just brilliant. Her comedy chops are way better than any of us ever imagined when she was a babyface. And she gets a chuckle out of me almost every time she's on my TV. And when it's not funny, it's because she's fucking killing it in the ring.
Exactly. Well said. Number 4 for me, Sami Zayn.
There he is.
Pretty much copy-paste what you said. I love that this dude is just really one of the best promos in the entire company. When he talks, I listen, and I fucking love it. You know, he actually had a great interaction with Paul Heyman recently on Talking Smack, like before the Rumble, where, you know, he was kind of going through his signs, and, you know, one of them was stand against moral injustice, Sammy, which I thought was genuinely clever. And then Heyman's like, you know, I like moral injustice, but I like the sign though. No disrespect. And Sammy's like, oh well, I'll take that. And then later they were talking about the co-host, because who is it? It's like it's not Charlie. It's not Charlie. Kayla, that's it. Thank you.
Hey, Kayla.
Exactly. So when Sammy's complaining about Kayla, because, you know, this whataboutism, because she's kind of present against Sammy, and then Sammy's like, I know I don't have to tell you. I mean, you deal with it every week. And Heyman's like, oh, it's like being married to somebody. And then that's all he's, and Sammy's like, wait, that's it? And they just keep going. So, like, the interaction was fucking gold. Like you, I want to see him compete more. And I say again that, you know, there was a time when Sammy, you know, had first turned heel and he was running roughshod over everybody with Kevin Owens, that I'm like, oh my God, I want this dude to be WWE champion. I still want him to be WWE champion. In fact, maybe even more so now. Of course, in this case, it would be Universal champion, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. Just because it would be hilarious to me that he'd be the world champion and he'd still think there was a conspiracy. Like that, I think that is just so perfect for the time period that we're in, when you have all the power, all the privilege, and yet you still feel like the conspiracy is against you.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to take that to the extreme with Sammy. I don't think they ever will, but my God, what a fucking talent, and that's why he's number 4 on my Fave 5.
Excellent, excellent. I love it. Now, I think this is going to be the only real surprise on my list here, which, if you really think about it, shouldn't really be that much of a surprise at all, but a fandom within me has been reawakened within the last month. You want to take a guess, or should I just say it?
Just say it, brother. I'm curious.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, you can go home again.
Has resurfaced on my radar and becomes number 3 on my Fave 5. The work that he has been doing lately, the face turn has been such a breath of fresh air. The promos that he's been cutting, both leading up to the Rumble and even since losing the Rumble, the fucking gauntlet performance, like, yeah, Nakamura finally being given shit to do has completely reawakened the fan of him in me. So Nakamura makes it to number 3 on my WWE Fave 5 that quickly. With just that little bit of effort, they got him fully back behind, or got me fully back behind him.
You love to see it, brother. Very happy for you and for Shinsuke. Number 3 for me, Bianca Belair.
Yep.
What a goddamn
I was waiting. I knew she'd be on your list.
Yeah, she's so good. So good. And what I love about her, too, and you could really see it in my mind in her Smackdown run, maybe even more than her NXT run. Of course, that's a matter of debate. She's got genuine personality. It's not just that she's an athlete. Again, she has her own catchphrase, with the whole EST, but also with the girl. Even though she never grew up being an indie mark or anything like that, I feel like, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to lay my cards on the table, I think she has a better understanding of what it means to be a professional wrestler than most actual professional wrestlers today, like working the scene, because she knows it's not just about the in-ring. It's, you're pretty much a brand. You're a walking brand. How do you brand yourself to other people? She makes her own gear, her aesthetic. She's got, a sound understanding of that. The confidence. It's not a stereotypical gimmick. In fact, I would say, again, going back to Sammy, what's so great about characters like Sammy and on the opposite end, Bianca, it's characters that are so resonant in the times that we're in, because when you're dealing with, rightist conspiracy theorists and police terrorism and this and that, which often, goes in dehumanizing blackness and racist action and this and that. Here is a woman that is unapologetically proud to be black, and a black, woman on top of that. It's what we need. When you always hear those 2 words, representation matters. And in the case of entertainment, that's where I feel it to be especially true. Politics, I'm a bit more critical. We've had plenty of discussions about that, but this is entertainment. This is an aesthetic medium. And I think little girls watching people like Bianca, that's a powerful freaking thing. I loved her winning the Rumble. You guys can go back and listen to our reactions. That might even be a contender for a mark-out moment of the year for me. Just because, she's worked so hard for it. I think her and Sasha are going to blow the roof off. And I just love watching her every week, man. And her carrying Otis, I mean, goddamn, that has got to be the visual so far of 2021. So, yeah, that's why she cracked top 3. I think she's been fucking killing it lately.
Yeah, I genuinely expected Bianca to rank pretty highly for you. I'm a little bit surprised that she wasn't in your top 2, but now thinking about it, I think I know who your top 2 is, and I get it.
Yeah. So who's next for you, bud?
I don't know if this is going to be your number 2 or your number 1, but I'm pretty certain that my number 2 is one of your last remaining people. It's Roman Reigns time, baby.
Oh, my God. All day, every day. I will say we both have Roman Reigns at number 2. I know we've kind of refrained from being like, oh, they're on the list, but I think we agreed that when it's the exact same number.
When we have them at the same number, we can just splurge together. We can just...
Exactly. Yeah. So, you go first.
Well, I never thought that I would see the day that Roman fucking Reigns would be booked as a guy that can't win without cheating. But here we are. He couldn't beat Jey Uso without cheating. He can't beat Kevin Owens without cheating. He's just straight up in a position where he is holding on to the Universal Championship by a nail, by a fucking fingernail, by a hair even. And it is glorious to watch this man with all of this arrogance and confidence and just, I'm the fucking man and what are you going to do about it? Get into a fight with guys that don't have all that power and lose to them until he doesn't. It's so good. It's so good because he consistently gets out-wrestled or out-fought or whatever you want to say about it. And he always uses his brain and Paul Heyman's strategies to win matches. And I just love that dynamic. And I just love that this is the Roman Reigns that we've got right now. I'm still waiting for him to bring it back, man. Either it's Roman Reigns time straight up, because I know he said it's my time or something like that recently, but he hasn't said it's Roman Reigns time. But I want either that or I want It's Irrelevant. I want one of them to come back, man. I want it. I need it.
I think you said everything perfectly, so I don't want to belabor those points. I will just say one thing, though, that I think is unique to this discussion. It feels so good to be in the line of work that you and I are in, being podcasters, really discussing it, being a part of the internet age of pro wrestling, and still coming across heels that genuinely work you, because I'll be damned if Roman didn't fucking work me at Rumble. In that match against Kevin Owens, I thought Owens had him fucking beat.
But nobody worked you at the Royal Rumble harder than Paul Heyman himself.
Fuck Paul Heyman, man. I love the dude. He's been so good, but you took so fucking long. And that I'm telling you, man, not to be overly critical, but that really is what took the match just out of match of the year contender for me, because pacing matters, and Heyman killed it. But in the positive sense of killing it, Roman definitely did. I mean, I really thought, oh my God, we're about to have a new champion. They're going to tell this crazy fucking story with Roman not going into Mania as champion. Nope, grabs the referee, takes him out. And you guys can hear it again on live reactions. I lost it. I cussed Roman. I was like, oh, fucking bullshit, this and that. But it feels so good to be worked. And you know that I'm able to have fun with it, because if I wasn't able to have fun with it and I took it too personally, Roman wouldn't have even made my list. But he's brilliant at what he does. This is the era of Roman Reigns right now, and I am fucking living for it.
Yes.
So, with that said, friend, who is number one? And I think I know who it is, but I'm curious.
You probably do, because I don't know if you remember, but I did say that I had 3 people on my Five Fave Fives list that were in your honorable mention, and we've already gotten through Nakamura and Bayley. So there's only one left, and I think it's pretty obvious that it's Daniel freaking Bryan.
Yep, I knew it. Talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, he still just does it for me, man. His promos are still great. I mean, you even splurged over his Rumble Go Home promo, where he opened the show on the Smackdown before Rumble and really just sold the Royal Rumble better than just about anyone in the fucking roster can. He's a master of his craft, and I just want to see him versus anyone. Like, you name somebody on the roster, and I probably want to see that person versus Daniel Bryan. So Bryan is right now, from a strictly like, how do I put this? From a strictly sort of in the zone, like can do no wrong kind of perspective, Bryan to me is the Finn Balor of the main roster.
Yeah, I think that's very well put. Yeah.
So okay. I think he's just in that zone, and I love Finn. He's not number 1 on my NXT list. I'll give that away right now, but I think you guys can probably figure out who is once we get there. But I've been a fan of Daniel Bryan for such a long time that anytime he's doing something on the main roster and actually being given something to do and being given opportunities to talk and wrestle and stuff like that, he's always going to be number 1 for me on the main roster. That's just, he's just my favorite wrestler right now, period.
Hey, brother, that makes all the sense in the world to me. So we go from that to NXT, and because you did honorable mentions the first time for WWE,
by the way, I want to interject just to correct myself. He's my favorite male wrestler right now, period. I'll say that.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to open up with NXT honorable mentions. Grizzled Young Vets, Mercedes Martinez, Ember Moon, Dexter Loomis.
Wait. I'm so sorry, dude. I was responding to Javaris, and I completely missed your honorable mentions for NXT. Wait, why are you going to NXT? Who's your number 1 in WWE?
Oh, right. We never even talked about that. I'm sorry. I thought I did already. And
I think I know who it is already, but I want to still hear you talk about him.
Well, it's kind of a similar feeling for me that you had with Shinsuke. Kevin Owens.
Oh,
Kevin Owens.
dude, you realize that Mustafa Ali wasn't even your honorable mentions?
Yeah, Raw just sucks, man. Again,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. I genuinely thought it was going to be Ali in your number one spot because of all the Twitter ownage that he's been doing lately. But okay.
Dude, I'm surprised a bit that you're surprised because you know how much I've been gushing over babyface Kevin Owens at the same time.
Admittedly, Owens is I just blanked on him.
That's fair. But yeah, I guess technically I did too, right? Because I was ready to move on to NXT. But no, it feels so good to love Kevin Owens again. Because for so long, he was either doing the Kevin Owens show, or he was doing fucking Raw Underground, or he was fighting Eye Patch Alistair, and it's like, he wasn't even bad in this stuff. And again, it sucked when he was on Raw because I just don't care. I think Raw is the worst program that WWE puts out, and I know I'm not alone in that.
Let me ask you a question. If you were given 3 hours, a television, and no cable, only access to either that week's episode of Raw or that week's episode of AEW, and you didn't have the option to just watch fucking Ants in a Snowstorm, and you didn't have the option to read, you literally are forced to sit in this chair and watch one of these two shows beginning to end, or you never leave the chair. What do you do?
Honestly, I may just go AEW in that case.
Yeah, I kind of expected you to go there, and I think I would agree, actually. So that's kind of wild.
If only because, oddly enough, because normally you'd want to go with what's familiar, but like what's familiar hurts me because there are guys I like on Raw and women I like on Raw that don't get pushed. Meanwhile, AEW has the novelty, which means both a lack of emotional investment, at least at the start, and then like everything has a kind of newness to it. So yeah, I think AEW. But getting back on Owens, him getting drafted and him going back, like, well, he was a babyface on Raw, to be fair, but them really sticking with babyface Owens, his program with Roman was everything I wanted out of a babyface Kevin Owens. It was him at his absolute fucking best between the intensity in the segments, his in-ring, his promos. The promo he cut about his grandfather was like, holy fucking shit. You know, we knew this was inside of him, and finally they let him do it. He's incredible. And that's why I've been pleading, you know, on Twitter and elsewhere, give this man Brock Lesnar at Mania. Because the only reason I keep bringing that up, in case people are confused, in one interaction he had with Heyman on Talking Smack, he openly mentions how he wanted to fight Brock Lesnar, and he told Heyman he wanted to fight Brock Lesnar, but he knows Heyman never went to Brock with that match. And he said, oh, that's okay, because obviously he had Roman in his sights, you know, in the present. Give me Lesnar versus babyface Owens. You need to keep Owens hot. I am so terrified that the next time we come around to do this, Owens may not even be an honorable mention because they may just make him irrelevant. He was so brilliant in that program. In my mind, he didn't do anything fucking wrong in that last man standing match. Neither did Roman. Again, I put all the blame on Paul there for killing the pacing. You need to give him something worthwhile to do. And you know, I also kind of fear that maybe now that he's done with Roman, maybe him and Sammy will cross paths. I don't want that. And no offense to Sammy, that's because I think Kevin is above Sammy at this time. I think he's coming off really hot in that program despite not winning the title. You need to give him a monster heel because I'm loving Kevin Owens. And it's really that simple. I even broke out the phrase on Twitter, because he's a father, damn it. And I genuinely meant it. And it just felt good. Again, like you with Shinsuke, I say, you know, you can go home again. I've loved this guy for years, and it feels good to tap into that love again. And Kevin's just so fucking good at this, and he loves this. And I really do hope one day we can call him world champion again. So that rounds out my WWE Fave 5. So I do still open, though, NXT honorable mentions, right? Just to kind of reset all this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so if you're good to hear them, because I know you were responding to Javaris the first time.
I am good to go.
And plus I lapsed. Okay, so honorable mentions for NXT. Grizzled Young Vets. Mercedes Martinez, Ember Moon, Dexter Lumis, Timothy Thatcher, Io Shirai, LDF, Casey Catanzaro.
Okay.
Now, who are on your honorable mentions?
We actually have very, very similar thinking as far as like this range. I will say, three of your honorable mentions are in my Fave 5.
Yes.
My honorable mentions, again, going in order from bottom to top. So from the person that's the closest to being off the list completely up to, you know, the end of the list will be the person or act that is the closest to making the Fave 5. Jessie Kamea, Indy Hartwell, Gigi Dolan making an appearance already, baby. One match, and I don't give a fuck. Santana Garrett, Johnny Gargano, Mercedes Martinez, Dakota Kai, Tyler Rust, Legado del Fantasma, Shotzi Blackheart, and MSK.
Very interesting. Also, like you, or like me with you, quite a few honorable mentions for you were in my Five Fave Fives. So opening up on number 5 for me, Shotzi Blackheart.
Yep.
It's been a rough period for her, but I still love the idea of Shotzi. An idea, to be quite frank, that has been realized. I just don't know if it's been fully appreciated. That's the difference. Like, I love the aesthetic. I love the energy. I love the characters like her and others that don't get used even when they should be. Boogs are like straight out of a comic book. It's like the best of 80s wrestling, but with contemporary pacing and just aesthetics and everything else. So, like, yeah, because they really do feel like larger than life and just very colorful, and it just, like, it pops. And I still think Shotzi, in the ring might even still be underrated in some circles, to be quite honest. And I still look at her, and all I can think is, if that woman isn't a future NXT Women's Champion, then I don't know what that title even means to them. Because, I mean, Io is a fantastic champion. That is not a slight at Io whatsoever. I'm just talking in the overall lineage. If you don't have somebody the caliber of a Shotzi hold it and get that emotional moment at a takeover, I don't know, man. I just think NXT's out of lockstep with their vision of the title compared to my vision for the title. I adore Shotzi. I think she's wonderful, and I just can't wait to see her get back on track. So who is number 5?
I just want to, first of all, I do want to say I do agree with pretty much everything that you just said about Shotzi, but frankly, just in recent months, I just want to see her wrestle more again. Like, I feel like we just said that. I feel like there are a lot of people we could say that about, but I feel like we just said that about Sami Zayn, and I could also say it about Daniel Bryan, but now I also want to say it about Shotzi. I feel like we don't see her wrestle enough either.
Yeah, I would agree with that, man. I would absolutely agree with you there.
And speaking of women who we don't get to see wrestle enough, and who also happen to be tag team partners with each other, oddly enough, my number 5 is Shotzi's tag partner in the women's tournament right now, Ember Moon.
Yes, dude. Go.
Yeah, I just love Ember, man. I don't think that she's the best promo, but I don't think she needs to be because of just how goddamn exceptional in the ring she is. I really am starting to feel like she belongs in that Sasha Bailey Asuka tier as far as in-ring goes. Because the more I see her wrestle, the more I'm just like, what the fuck? She can do no wrong in the ring. She's just exceptional at wrestling. She
is. She really is. Moving right along. Number 4 for me, so soon already, MSK.
Love it. Dude, this is what I was saying, though. I feel like you and I had a very similar mindset in, when I say this range, I'm talking like top of honorable mentions into like the 5-4, maybe even barely 3 in that kind of area. Because Shotzi and MSK were both my top 2 honorable mentions. Like, they would have been, MSK would have been 6, Shotzi would have been 7 if we did more than a top 5 for me. And you have them at 4 and 5 respectively. So that's just perfect.
Yeah. What can I say, guys? I love tag team wrestling when it's excellent. I really do. I think you guys knew that when we were in the Revival era and DIY and, American Alpha, who I've really grown to miss lately. MSK just kind of brings me back to that time. These guys are so fun in the ring. We heard a bit of their promo chops. Not bad, but what they do in the ring is so much better. And, honestly, looking at the men behind the performers, with WWE PC and stuff, you should go and watch the MSK videos on WWE PC if you haven't. This is very personal for them. Their passion is fucking palpable, and I respect the fuck out of it. I have been so committed to, GYV should win the Dusty Classic, GYV. Now, I kind of stepped off that a little bit when they were committed to being heels. I was really excited about GYV as babyface, and I still am, for the record. I still wouldn't be mad if they won, furthest thing from. They're an excellent tag team. But I really wouldn't have any qualms if MSK won this tournament either. I mean, what a way to make a team just immediately than having them win the fucking Dusty Classic as an actual tag team. It'd be amazing for them. So I'm definitely pulling for them. They're just a fucking roller coaster ride, and it's amazing. So MSK at number 4. Who's next on your list, bud?
Yeah, and continuing the trend of these lower ranking Fave 5 members also being on the other person's honorable mentions. You know, Shotzi and MSK were both in my honorable mentions. Ember Moon was in yours. And my number 4, Grizzled Young Vets.
Love it. Go.
Soon to be Dusty Classic winners and future NXT Tag Team Champions, baby. The best tag team in NXT. You know I love MSK. You know I think they're awesome. But if I had to choose between them and GYV, right now, I'm all in on the GYV train, baby.
Yeah, dude, I don't blame you. And can I just say, Zach Gibson, the superior scalp, can't wait to see him triumph over fucking Ciampa. Fuck that boomer ass. Yeah, man, GYV is wonderful. Tag team wrestling is getting ready to truly be great again in NXT, and you love to see it. You also love to see this. Number 3 on my list, I can't fucking believe it. Johnny Gargano.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that's pretty much the reaction I was going for. If you would have told me even a year ago that Johnny would
my mom, by the way?
What'd she say?
Is he ill?
No, I actually checked, and I'm doing great. If you would have told me, I said a year ago when I started, but maybe even like 6 months ago, that Johnny would be in a Fave 5 and in the top 3, man, I would have had such a guttural laugh at your expense. Kind of like I've been having at hedge fund billionaires losing everything.
Yes!
But man, bro, I gotta tell you, and maybe you'll even, maybe this will even be resonant with you given your initial reaction. He's just so fucking funny. I genuinely
he's really good at comedy bits.
I love that we mocked him for so long about being the man-child,
and he embraced it.
He did. He embraced being the Will Ferrell of NXT, and it's fucking ridiculous. And the thing is, the dude can still absolutely go in the ring. And you know what? That's why the match with Kushida is gonna be so fascinating, because you've got a guy that doesn't sell and counters everything, versus the other guy that also counters everything. Although I'll admit he probably is a better seller.
It's gonna be so fucking obnoxious. It's gonna be crazy.
So who's gonna give, right?
Honestly, I wonder if they'll cancel each other out, and because they'll just constantly be giving each other their own bullshit, it'll make us dislike neither one of them, because it's Kushida's pulling a Kushida on Gargano, but Gargano's pulling a Gargano on Kushida, and it's how can we hate either one of them when they're both doing the same shit?
Exactly. But dude, he's just been so entertaining. I've loved the promos ever since they got out of the Gargano dinners where it goes all black and white when we're being extra evil, and he's just been so extra instead. You said the word! I told you not to say the word.
K-word. You can't say the K-word. I'm gonna go get you fired.
I know we said this was post Rumble, so this is still going back, but I mean, still, it's also fresh to me. The Gargano Christmas. You got me a PS5? No, that's mine, actually. This is your... I love it. And you know what? Him showing this charisma and being this kind of a heel, I think is going to make it all the more amazing when he does eventually go back to being a babyface. Because I don't think this is the last time in NXT that we've seen a babyface Gargano. I do think we'll see that again, but I'm finally really enjoying this heel run. So yeah, he cracked top fucking 3 for me. I can't believe it. But yeah, welcome back, Johnny Wrestling. Who's next on your list, bud?
Oh, that's hilarious. So number 3 on my NXT list is Finn Balor.
Oh, I love it. Go.
I mean, Edge said everything I would say last night. What he's doing right now, he is in a special place right now. He is in the zone. He is in that place, like I said about Daniel Bryan earlier, where he can really do no wrong. Everything that he's touching is turning to gold, and it's turning to gold because he's making it turn to gold, because he's forcefully willing it, becoming gold. He is gold. He is Midas. He is King Midas. He is Prince Midas, since we got to stay thematically correct here. he is just everything he's doing is just perfect. He is cutting great promos. He got a fucking broken jaw, and the promos that he was cutting on the other side of it were still fucking excellent. Even though he had a swollen jaw on one side, it made him look like he was fucking Mitt Romney or who? What was the fucking John McCain or some shit like that? Like he's absolutely killing it right now. Promos are great. I am beyond stoked because I don't like Pete Dunne on the mic. I think Pete Dunne's a shitty promo, but in the ring, him versus Finn is going to be absolutely that right there, John. You're talking about potential match of the year candidates coming out of WWE. That is where my sights are set right there.
Absolutely. I mean, Prince Midas, I can't do a better soundbite than that, so I'm not going to try. Instead, I'm going to focus on my number 2 pick, a diamond in the rust.
Yo, what?
Tyler fucking Rust.
Wow.
At number 2. Now, you guys are probably thinking, we've seen so little of him. How can he rank that high? It's quality over quantity, friends. And what I've seen from this dude combined with Malcolm Bivens, I fucking love. I fucking love this dude. The in-ring is so clean.
Yeah.
The aesthetic. The dude looks like a star. The dude like, you know how I said just a few moments ago?
He looks like a smaller Test.
He does. And that's the thing, dude. Like, I said earlier that Shotzi and Rick Boogs are, like, the best of 80s wrestling. I feel like Tyler Rust has that aesthetic where, like, 70s. He looks like that's funny. Say that again? I
would say he's more of a 70s look.
He's more of a 70s look, and it's funny because you said Test, so I was, and I'm glad you said 70s look, because I'm thinking he's, like, Attitude Era in a way with the aesthetic of like all these flowing blonde locks and this and that, but he's got like the work rate of like contemporary indies and stuff like that, or even like mid 2000s indies and stuff like that, where everybody was like,
I'm thinking like Von Erichs though, like that's kind of the era this brings out to me.
Yeah, and like with Malcolm Bivens as a mouthpiece. Oh my God, it's amazing. Like, I want this dude to be North American champion. And I just got done gushing over the current one, Johnny Gargano. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, I won't even say that this is cheating, because again, it's Five Fave Fives, this is our podcast, we do what the fuck we want. But I think, too, I love what I've seen, but Tyler Rust is yet another talent, and I've used this phrase before, where I'm loving what he is, but I'm far more fascinated by what he can become. I really am.
The old really, John special. Really I love what he is, but I'm looking forward to see where he can go.
Exactly. And I don't think anybody has embodied that mindset for me quite to the level that Tyler Rust has. I'm seriously hoping, man, by the end of this calendar year, we get Tyler Rust as North American champion. So we'll see. But who's next on your list?
I would really like that. Well, number 2 on my list is somebody that I really, really hope is the person that maybe Tyler Rust wins the North American title from in like 9.5 months or so, because this is somebody that I really want to win the North American title too. And I feel like he's kind of put in the time to the point that maybe he deserves it more than Rust if we're talking about the right now and like the moment and like in the very, very near future. But he's been recently getting a little bit too busy getting squashed by Bronson Reed because it's Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Dude, I love that he's still ranked that high for you despite all the bullshit lately. Go.
Dude, it's his fucking swagger. I just can't not love him. Even just that quick segment the other night where we saw him talking to someone backstage. I don't even remember who he was talking to, but I remember he was talking to someone backstage and then they walked away and he just had this shit-eating grin on his face. And I was like, oh my God, I love this dude. Holy shit. And like, his matches are second to none because of the way he moves. He's just so different. He is the most different in-ring. I don't even know what to call it. His in-ring mobility, I guess, is the most completely like unconventional that we have seen since John fucking Cena, for Christ's sakes. Like, he is just on a completely different plane as far as the way that he moves in the ring, the way he navigates that squared circle. And he's got charisma out the ass, and he's a great talker. And his emoting, like his facial expressions, the way he emotes, and his body language. The fact that this dude came in as a hot as hell babyface, and now he's turning into a fucking loathsome heel. I want more. I don't care if he's a face or a heel. I just want more Swerve, and I want him to have some goddamn credibility. I fucking love Swerve.
Beautifully said. Number one for me, I would say, is still in competition, despite the fact that we've got the greatness of fucking Roman Reigns and Finn Balor and Drew, who I feel like gets really underserved by a lot of people. Still in competition for being the best champion in the company, Santos Escobar.
So wait, you had him listed separately from LDF then?
Yes, I did. Just to make that clear, I should have specified that. I apologize. But yeah, by LDF, I mean more the tag team of Mendoza and Wild.
And I guess since we're clarifying, when I say LDF, I specifically mean Escobar and Mendoza, because Wild does nothing for me.
Okay, so in the future, I'll probably put in parentheses and clarify to you and our audience. But yeah, I do apologize for that. But just to get back to showering this man with the praise that he deserves, I fucking love how this dude carries himself. Oh my God. Like, I think I've said this before, and it bears repeating, that I grew up with the Ruthless Aggression era Cruiserweight division. And I was, of course, there when Hornswoggle killed it. Between both these eras for Cruiserweights, you know, the Ruthless Aggression era and then the CWC Revival and everything else, he's the greatest Cruiserweight champion I've ever seen. And in my time of being a wrestling fan and experiencing Cruiserweight wrestling, he's the best Cruiserweight champion I have ever seen. He makes that title feel like it fucking matters. Like, he really fucking makes you believe, like, yeah, why aren't I vying for this? And it's amazing. And how he believes in himself, which is why I hated that he backed down from Cross like he did. Yeah. Because this dude should still be puffing his chest out and being like, make me leave the ring. Make me go. I love the vignettes. I love the fine fucking liquor. I love the suits. I love the cars. LDF is like, and I say this very loosely. I'm always afraid that something I say, somebody's going to quote tweet, I'm going to be embarrassed. But fuck it. Like, they are like a luchador evolution to me. They have that vibe to me of, like, it's cool being us. And you're right, it is. They mentioned before the defense with Kurt Stallion on NXT that he was at 264 days Cruiserweight champion. I think he's going to make a year. I'm putting my money down. I don't know if anybody's going to beat him for that title. I will say,
I don't think if he drops that title right around WrestleMania weekend, it will be less than a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you're saying you think he holds that past WrestleMania weekend?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
That's a bold prediction, man. That's a bold prediction.
But a bold prediction for a bold son of a bitch. And I mean, he was really always a heel because, first of all, you covered that up. And then second of all, when you unmasked and you looked like that. So it's like, I both want it, and how dare you bring my insecurities to the forefront. But God, I still love it. Like, his existence makes me feel things. And it's amazing. But no, in all seriousness too, because we know how handsome he is, but that is, at the risk of being reductive, that is important in pro wrestling. Because if you're going to be on a poster, you should look good while being on the poster. But the dude can talk, too. I mean, dude, that promo he had surveying all the champions of NXT and why he's better than them, holy fucking shit, dude. That's why I almost have to wonder internally in the NXT system if anybody else thought, oh my God, that was a really good promo, or like, let's see how he does with it, and then they really committed about him interacting with Karrion Kross. Like, let's mix him up with heavyweights, because he's proven himself in the Cruiserweight division, and you're goddamn right he has. And Javaris has been saying over and over, give me Santos versus Finn. Yeah, I fucking want that match too, because I don't want his only flirtation with heavyweights to be a fucking glorified squash match. Yeah. This dude deserves the world in a better company, which granted, I'd love to see how Santos could do in the ratings. I envision that WWE title over his shoulder. I've always kind of imagined him as a world champion. We'll see what happens, but yeah, like he's so fucking good. He's untouchable right now to me. He's running NXT. So, who's number one for your NXT Fave 5? I didn't forget this time. I know we still got one left. Yeah. I'm curious who topped it out for you, even though I think I know, right?
Yeah, everyone knows. It's the queen herself. It's Io Shirai, of course.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to say about
I mean,
Io?
at this point, anytime she graces my screen with her presence is a true gift. She's just wonderful. I'm so happy that she's getting the type of NXT Women's Championship reign that she fucking deserves. At this point, she could never lose the title, and I would never complain about it because she's just that goddamn good. But if she does, I really hope it's to somebody that's really, really good in the ring too, so that we can keep having bangers for NXT Women's Championship matches on takeovers, in perpetuity.
I love how much you love Io, and I just picture her standing atop the top rope like she was watching Mercedes and Tony fight each other with that look on her face, like, yes, I am the best. Keep showering me with praise, yes.
Yep. And I would.
And you'd be like, gladly, Io, we love you. And I wouldn't even blame you. I wouldn't even fucking blame you. So that rounds out NXT. Now the shit gets good. See, I always get excited because we know after we get to NXT, we get to that good fucking Japanese wrestling shit, starting with New Japan. So I think because I did honorable mentions for NXT, you do honorable mentions for New Japan. My friend, I relinquish to you. Who made your honorable mentions?
In order, again, going bottom up. So the first name that I mention is going to be the person that is the closest to falling off the list completely. And the last person that I mentioned for honorable mentions is going to be the person that's the closest to being on my Fave 5. Tonga Loa. Leo.
Ooh.
Oh, you said ooh. Okay. Yeah. So Tonga Loa, Leo Rush, Shingo Takagi, Master Wato, Jeff Cobb, Kenta, Minoru Suzuki.
Ooh, what?
Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tetsuya.
Okay.
Oh. Hiromu.
Okay.
And Hiro Ishii.
Wow, both of them? Wow.
All of them.
Okay.
I feel like the four guys that have been mainstays on my Fave 5 have been Suzuki, Ishii, Naito, and Hiromu, and they're all in my honorable mentions this time.
God, I love how, because I don't even know if I hyped it. I think I did. I think I even said, oh, you guys are going to be so excited about, my New Japan and Stardom list because it was a violent shakeup, and Ashton's just like, hold my water because he's a hydro fucking homie. Yeah. And man, you really kind of stunned it on us. Holy fuck. All right. Well, as I always say, when it comes to New Japan and Stardom, I wouldn't be as committed to honorable mentions as like a hierarchy. I guess in a way I would, another way I wouldn't. And that's why I said Udo, because I know you try and keep that in mind. I love that Tonga Loa is that close to breaking through for you. That's so fucking
No. Other way around. He was at the bottom.
Oh, he was at the bottom. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's Ishii, actually, that is the closest to being on my list, which makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. Okay. See, I did it in the reverse. Like, when I start with somebody, it's like, okay, and then the last name's like the first. Okay. All right. Well, here we go. Honorable mentions for me. Kenta, Sanada, ZSJ, Sho, Taichi, Hiromu Takahashi, Tanahashi, Shingo, Jeff Cobb, Okada, and Great Khan. So
I got lost after Shingo. Who was after Shingo?
Jeff Cobb, Okada, Great Khan.
Okay.
So who is number 5 on your New Japan Fave 5, friend?
Number 5 of my New Japan Fave 5 is also on your honorable mention, which has become so much less unexpected at this point. It's Sho.
Yeah.
I fucking love this dude. I want this dude to be... Really, I want him to have a good run with the Junior Heavyweight Championship first, but I really want him in a G1 more than anything. I want him to win a BOSJ. I want him to win the junior title. I want him to have a good run with it. Maybe 8 months, maybe 10 months, maybe a year. I want him to drop it to a good, up-and-coming junior, maybe like a Master Wato or someone along those lines. And then I want him in the G1 that same year. I want him in a G1 so bad. The dude is ripped to shreds. The only reason that he isn't considered a heavyweight is because he is a little bit on the short side. I think he's like 5'8". But fuck that. We stand short kings in this household, and Sho deserves to be in a goddamn G1.
Beautifully said. Number 5 for me, Ishii.
Ah, there he is. See, he was basically number 6 for me, and he's number 5 for you, so we're not that far off.
No, not that far off at all, friend. What can I say that hasn't already been said? The Stone Popper just deserves the world. I've somewhat given up on him being world champion. I mean, I always like to keep the door open, even ajar. But I think the new goal is just Intercontinental title, which I still think is doable for him. I would love to see him have an IC title reign. I think he deserves it. I think he's the true best bout machine. And I think if I take solace in anything, I think more people are waking up to that fact. And it's really beautiful to see. Ishii is just fucking amazing. What more is there to say? So who is next on your Five Fave Five?
Next on my Fave 5 is number 4, and that is Sanada.
Love it. Love it.
If we were ranking based on factions, Sanada would be the new number 1 for me in LIJ.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, because he's overtaken Naito and Hiromu, according to my own logic here in these lists. I have just really become a huge fan of his. I am extremely excited. I know I don't expect him to actually win, but I'm extremely excited about his challenging for the God belts at New Beginning in Hiroshima on February 11th. And John and I actually made this decision earlier, so I guess we can announce it here. For those of you that are here that follow New Japan, we will be live reacting to both New Beginning and Hiroshima shows. The first one is the 10th, the second one is the 11th. Our goal is to live react to those day of. So hopefully the day that they happen, we'll be able to live react to them. I'm guessing it'll be at 4 or 5 p.m. And that's because they're just really, really good shows. The first one is main evented by Hiromu versus Sho. The second one is main evented by the God Belts match between Ibushi and Sanada. I'm stoked about both of those. And the rest of the cards on both of those shows look good as well. So I'm excited about those shows. Sanada, though, just as an individual performer, God, the fucking swag of this dude. Holy, I talked about Isaiah Swerve Scott in the last discussion, and we talk about Escobar all the time, how he oozes charisma. To me, Sanada is in that same group. He belongs to that category. He's in that same tier of charisma oozers. It's just dripping off of him. And talk about drip, this motherfucker's got drip for days. Come on. Sanada's got style for days. The dude is an absolutely incredible athlete. John, you always praise the ever-loving shit out of him for how safe he works, even though he's not boring. And that's another great reason for me to love him. I just think Sanada is vastly underappreciated by the internet wrestling community, and I was not willing to let that go unnoticed.
You know what? You'll love to see it. Number 4, Murder Grandpa, Minoru Suzuki.
Nice.
Much like Ishii, what is there to say? To me, the uncrowned IWGP Heavyweight Champion. You know, I see plenty of jokes on the internet. Real men cry at insert thing here. Well, to contribute to the joke, real men cry at Suzuki finally becoming IWGP Heavyweight Champion, because when he wins that title, I'm definitely going to shed a tear. And when this man retires, and we always talk about it every year, whenever that comes, even though I think Suzuki's going to retire when he's fucking well and ready, it's really going to be just an end of an era for pro wrestling as a whole. And again, I've said all this before, but I think why I keep saying it and why we keep coming back here is similarly to you with Sanada. Like, oh, you feel like he's not appreciated enough by the IWC and you want to make sure that, you know, you advocate for him. I advocate for Suzuki in a different way because he has that body of work. He has proven himself, but I never want people to lump him in with a Ric Flair or a Hulk Hogan, like, oh, he's a relic, he needs to move aside for that next generation, when he's still not only contributing, he's contributing in a way that is so enthralling, well beyond what a lot of these guys today, to me, are doing. And if he would hold that IWGP Heavyweight title even for a month, I would just feel so at peace. So I'm still rooting for the fucking dude. I think he's going to be 53 this fucking year. And just insane to me. Insane. So Suzuki, man, number 4. Who is next on your list, friend? Ooh, I like what's coming.
Number 3 on my New Japan list. Okada!
Excellent.
Kazuchika!
Excellent.
I think the last year has made my appreciation for Okada grow about tenfold, because there was a point in time, and maybe even as long ago as the beginning of 2020, that I liked him and didn't love him. And just over the course of time, seeing how much people have overlooked him and demeaned him and tried to reduce his ability and his talent to, oh, he can only do this, or, oh, he's only good in that situation or whatever, and seeing him prove them wrong over and over and over again, and him using the money clip for as long as he did and pissing so many people in our chat off that made me laugh so hard. That made me more of a fan of his. And then finally at Wrestle Kingdom, because it's the story that only Okada could tell, whipping out the fucking Rainmaker to put Ospreay the fuck down. I mean, I already don't like Will Ospreay, so watching him get blown the fuck up by a Rainmaker, I mean, chef's kiss. Are you kidding me? It's fucking art. It's high art. It's perfect. And I love Okada.
Excellent. Number 3 for me, it may not be befitting for a man that became God. Kota Ibushi.
Oh, dude, I guess I can step in here because Ibushi's my number 2 as well.
Okay, then I'll talk about Ibushi, and then we know you're number 2, so then you can kind of grab the baton and kind of run with it.
we can do our dual splurge. We can splurge together.
I really am wondering if we have the same number 1, and I'll be so giddy if we do.
I think we do, but we'll get around to it eventually.
Yeah, and you and I will both have to talk about that person a lot, because normally I like to save time, but no, I have a lot to say, but we'll get to that. Ibushi, fantastic. I mean, it's funny, and we've had this conversation so many times, and it just bears repeating, and I'm going to keep in mind the point that you've already raised when we've had that discussion. This dude really is like a Misawa of his generation. I think the way that he influences other performers, again, with the Kamigoye, that's the point that you'd always bring up, is just a testament enough to that. He's so good in the ring, and in one way, I'm going to be truthful. This is actually one of the more controversial picks I've had in Five Fave Fives, and I'll tell you why. Because I love everything about Kota Ibushi, but I'm also viscerally opposed to him in the sense that he always talks about, his vision of pro wrestling and how he, kind of paints that vision in the ring. I'm sorry. I love it, and I think it's good for you, but I don't know if that vision should win out in pro wrestling, because we see the neck bumps he takes, we see the ridiculous things that he does, and I want careers to be longer, not shorter. Yeah. I even said in a past commentary, which may even make all the more illuminating my hypocrisy here, but I think you can really see 2 different visions of pro wrestling in the same company in New Japan: Ibushi versus Sanada. Now, Sanada did make my honorable mention, and Kota Ibushi made my Fave 5, and I think that's more of an indictment of me than Kota Ibushi, because what is it about us that we gravitate to people destroying each other or even themselves for our entertainment? There's something scintillating about watching Kota Ibushi compete, but because I also like when we get more thoughtful in our commentaries on this channel, where it's not just ranting and raving or even just pure exuberance, but real thoughtfulness, Kota Ibushi may be a cautionary tale for the entertainment industry that we love. That it doesn't have to be this way, that it can be safer. But if Kota Ibushi is a love letter to that era of, I'm not going to be able to walk when I'm 50, but I put a lot of smiles on faces, he may be one of the greatest signatories of that love letter. It's just breathtaking watching him do what he does. Yeah. And that match he had at Wrestle Kingdom, and you could say which one, because both Naito and Jay White were fantastic for different reasons. So I love Kota Ibushi, but I don't know if I love his vision. And I think when we talk about a vision for pro wrestling, I pray for more Sonatas and less Ibushis, but maybe poetically that's why he's here. Because I hope sooner or later he is the one that becomes a relic. He is the one that belongs to a bygone era. And I just want to appreciate it, I guess, while we have it. So Kota Ibushi is number 3 on my Fave 5. Who is next on your list?
Well, Ibushi's number 2.
Well, yes, Ibushi is number 2. That's right. So you go. If you have anything you want to add on your own commentary.
I would just say that what you just did was beautiful. I think that was beautifully said. I fully agree with you in the sense that I do agree that we need more Sonatas and fewer Ibushis, but no matter how few Ibushis we might have, the second another one comes along, they're going to stand out because Ibushi is fucking incredible at what he does. So I don't know if there ever will be another Kota Ibushi, but if there ever is another one, we're going to find out about them. They're going to be a big deal. They're going to stand out. Like, this style as much as we hate that it exists, it's never going to go away, because as long as somebody's willing to do it, they're going to do it. And if there's nobody else doing it, they're going to stand out for it. So this is just a style that we're going to have to get used to, hope that the people that do it find the safest way possible to do it. And at the end of the day, I just think that the best, here's my big thing. Ibushi thinks that putting his body through hell is what makes him a special wrestler, or that doing flashy moves like the Phoenix Splash and the triangle moonsault and stuff like that. I hope he doesn't think that that's what makes him a special wrestler. To me, what makes Ibushi a special wrestler is actually his acting. It's his ability to sell a story with his facial expressions, with his body language. It's his ability to go from, ow, this hurts, I'm in so much pain, to, okay, now you've pissed me off and I'm going to fuck you up. It's his ability to tell a story with nothing more than his face and a few slaps. Like, to me, Ibushi is really special because of murder mode, as we call it. But the thing about murder mode is, when he goes into murder mode, it's kind of ironic, because the closest that he ever comes to killing anyone in the ring is the neck bumps that he takes, and he comes to killing himself. But when he goes into murder mode, he throws a bunch of shoot strikes that probably hurt, but have next to no chance of actually injuring. That, I think, is what makes Ibushi special, is that the dude is able to really bring out the fucking dragon, in a way, bring out the best of strong style in the package of this insanely, like, fucking Super Saiyan looking, high flying, flashy dude. But yet, like, to me, the Ibushi highlights, the best moments in his matches are when he is just standing in the middle of the ring, beating the fuck out of his opponent because they slapped him one too many times.
Yes. Absolutely.
So that's my big thing with Ibushi, is, like, I love the high flying, and that definitely adds to his matches. And I admit, I do mark out at the neck bumps, and a lot of the time it's kind of like a what the fuck, and I, like, wince and I, like, look away and stuff like that, but it still, like, gets me going in a way that maybe it shouldn't. But at the end of the day, what makes him really special to me is his strong style. So, fucking love Ibushi. And now, John, let's find out who your number 2 is.
Juice Robinson.
Yeah, dude, I looked at him and I was like, he hasn't been around. I can't put him on my list. I can't even have him in honorable mentions. I need something. I need something to go off of here. So I felt like I didn't have anything to go off of, and I didn't feel right including him.
I don't blame you, man. For me, it's just, God, he's such a good fucking promo.
I mean, you're probably including his, like, tag league promos and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Like, he makes everything he's a part of, even when it's legitimately beneath him,
like
just
David
feel
Finlay
like
tag
the most
team?
important thing in the world. Yeah, exactly. Fuck me. But he makes it feel like the most important thing in the world. And I think his selling second to none. I think, again, he's another guy that's a throwback. Like, he even says, like, he loved that era of babyface wrestling, you know, that 80s, early 90s, you know, Bret Hart, all those guys.
And he's keeping that shit alive, single-handedly almost.
He is, and you know what? Like, he does it in such a way that you're happy to see it. That you're not even lamenting, like, oh, God, this shit's still around. Like, it's a fucking corpse, bro. End it. No, it's a style, and it's a manner of wrestling that Juice actually shows has some vitality to it, has something worthwhile to it. And I still hope one day that this dude becomes a world champion. I really am hoping and pulling that he is a gaijin that New Japan puts their money on. Because I really do. I think he'll score big with it. I'm hoping for a big year for Juice. Maybe this G1 will be the one where he has the best record and gets another upset win or two. But I'm just loving the fucking dude's journey. And, yeah, that's why he made number 2 for me. But, I really think we have the same number 1. And I'm going to want to talk a good bit about it, and I'm sure you are too. So who is number 1 for New Japan for you?
I just have an analogy that I want to spout.
Okay.
Juice Robinson, instead of beating the dead horse that is 80s style promos, he took its pulse, realized it was still alive, fed it healthy grains, kept it alive, and brought it back better than ever.
Yes, absolutely.
But let's be real, number one is the motherfucking Switchblade, Jay White.
Yes! 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 Same,
The best
dude,
thing,
but you go first.
The best thing going in New Japan right now, the fucking Switchblade. Dude, I will say, the most disappointing thing for me is that Jay White did not come back either as a babyface or as an even bigger dick than he was before. He just feels like he's fallen right back into place, right where he was before losing at Wrestle Kingdom. That's disappointing to me, but everything up to that is, like, he put him so far ahead of the rest of the competition that even a little stumbling near the end of the race still keeps him in first place.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say? Because I'm going to go here, so I don't want to take anything unnecessarily from you. Is there anything else you want to say about Jay White before I just go with this?
John?
Yes.
Fucking go.
Sweet! Okay, so question. Have you gone and watched his backstage promos from the New Beginning shows?
No.
Oh my god, dude. Holy fuck. Okay, you need to, first of all. Second of all, that's what I think put him over the edge for me at number one. Because okay. Whew, okay, where do I start with this fucking dude? I think a good sign of a number one pick is somebody that you actively seek out, especially for guys like us that, like, this is a big part of our life, this podcast, you know, talking wrestling, engaging wrestling. But, you know, it really says something when, like, even when you're, like, quote-unquote clocked out, you're not doing a TWitWoW commentary, you're not preparing for anything, you still go and you seek this person out. He did a New Beginning promo called The Real Bullet Club, because I guess now there's going to be this whole thing, AEW, you know, they've got Omega and all that.
Oh, God,
and
yeah.
I guess Jay White got into it with the Young Bucks because they tried to make a commemorative shirt or whatever, and he pretty much said, like, this is such hokey, corny crap, but of course you people are going to buy it because you are you. And I'm like, yes, we're all so basic compared to you, Knife Senpai. But, so, he called them out for just trying to do, like, some hokey, like, over-the-hill kind of shit. Whereas he said, we're Real Bullet Club. And the funny thing is, dude, here's the thing. I don't want to, like, say that what you just said about Jay, like, the only disappointing thing being, like, he fell right back into place. I don't want to invalidate that, but here's the fascinating thing. You have that feeling. Other people, like, on the YouTube comments on these New Beginning backstage promos are like, oh my God, Jay is like, he really is bringing back Bullet Club of just fucking people up and wanting championships. Like, that's Bullet Club, is just disrupting New Japan, being the gaijin that infiltrate from the outside and just upending everything. I'm somewhere in the middle because I agree with you that I would have loved a babyface Jay White, but dude, this Jay White that just doesn't give a fuck, that's just like, I'm the leader of Bullet Club and we're going to go back to doing what Bullet Club does best, but it doesn't feel contrived, is the most compelling fucking content. His promos
There's still
right
a
now.
big part of me, though, that's like, are you really even the leader of the Bullet Club? Because I think Evil would probably be like, no, he's not.
No, but see, dude, the thing is, I think ever since Jay's come back and, like, assaulting Ishii and stuff like that, I think Evil's fallen in line. I don't know, because Evil doesn't seem like he's kind of bucking up again, at least for the moment. I want to say for the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch these promos and stuff, because I'm wondering if there have been any moments where Evil has, like, shot a side-eye look or something like that.
Dude, here's the thing about the first promo, like, the Real Bullet Club, which I'll have to send you a link to, because I'm really stuck on the promo, so before I forget to mention anything else, because I'm really fixated on the talking aspect, I want to say, too, the guy's in-ring has never been better than what it fucking is right now. He literally had my match of the year right now against Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom. Beg pardon?
I said, what is he, 28?
He's 28 years old, yes. He'll be 29 in October. So he's like a young 28 yet.
Is he better in the ring at 28 than Okada was a few years ago when he was 28?
Bro, he might be. I don't want to commit to that on the podcast because, like, I'm really unsure of that.
I'm gonna give it a soft no for now because I'm just starting to remember, like, how freakishly athletic Okada's always been, and just, like, there's probably not, but I mean, he's got to be in competition at least.
Yeah, dude. God. And you know, I know we're even getting reactions in chat like they wanted something else from Jay White, and that's totally valid, but, like, I'm loving this dude's fucking energy. Because, like, again, this is the real Bullet Club. His whole thing was, there was a moment that I doubted myself. And, dude, the way he's working this feud with Ishii, which, by the way, Jay White and G.O.D. going after the six-man tag titles, those fucking titles have never felt more important than Jay White winning them.
And that is the semi-main event. That's the semi-main event on one of the 2 New Beginning shows that we're going to be reacting to.
Dude, I fucking love how he set up this feud with Ishii. Because, again, he returned by attacking Ishii and laying him out with a Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And he's like, I wasn't wrong about my destino. I wasn't wrong about becoming God. There was just one small little bald piece. He blames Ishii for not winning the world title because he wasn't supposed to go the route of winning the briefcase. He was supposed to win the G1, and Ishii stopped him from doing it.
Wow.
He brought it fucking back to the G1, dude. He brought it fucking back to the G1. And then that's what I gotta say, man. I know we've given New Japan a lot of crap for the Evil title reign, and we never should let up on that. That was awful. But their booking, man, is next level, because isn't it funny that Jay White is broken, by Ibushi, sure. But then who pins him in the tag match on his last day when he says, this is my last day and that's it? Ishii. Who beat him in the G1, preventing him from going to the finals? Ishii. Like, Jay White as a character has every reason to hate Ishii. So the feud already, it's not like, oh, what? He goes from main eventing Wrestle Kingdom to doing this? No, there's actual narrative purpose. And he, brings it to the fore, and it's so fucking good. By the fucking way,
Holy shit.
The shirt he was wearing during the This Is the Real Bullet Club promo, I have never been so tempted to go and buy a Bullet Club t-shirt. And I've avoided it because I've honestly thought, and I'm just being honest with y'all, Bullet Club fucking sucks. Jay White, with this energy he's got going on right now, Ashton, you saw the tweet. I know for a fact you did because you liked it. I think he's a better Bullet Club leader than Omega, even with just the little things he's doing right fucking now are more compelling than anything Omega did in his tenure.
That's the thing about Omega's entire run as the Bullet Club leader was about Kenny Omega, whereas Jay is very clearly trying to bring the entire faction up a notch or two.
Yeah, he wants to win the 6-man fucking tag titles with G.O.D. Yeah. He supported Kento when he wanted to go on that one. Now, this is even before he left and everything else. Now that he's back, holy fuck, is he, pissed. And he's ready to take over the world. But even before that, he was cool with Kenta going after the world title and the Intercontinental title against Naito. He's a better leader. And I really do think with the energy he's got right now, I'm telling y'all, find those fucking promos, watch them, because ever since the Real Bullet Club one, every time I hear that Jay White is speaking about Ishii, I make time to listen, and that's why he's number one, because it's one thing to enjoy a promo when we're going to talk about it on a TWitWoW. It's another thing, even when there's not a TWitWoW on the horizon, where it's oh, I need to listen to this. Jay White, to me, is, again, I'm just going to say how I feel he is one of the most compelling wrestlers in the entire industry right now. 28 years old. His promos are fucking fire. His in-ring has never been tighter or, just more complete. He's cooking on every fucking cylinder. I'll tell you something, dude. In the next 2 years, maybe sooner, maybe a bit later, just to say that ultimately, I think we're going to have to start having conversations on if he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. That is the stock I'm putting.
Aren't we already having that conversation, though?
We might be. And you know what? Honestly, good. He is.
I think there's a very real argument that he's top 5 at least.
Yeah. At 28 fucking years old, dude. And by the way, let me also take this time to just retroactively abort the fucking record. Because the idea that I ever gave Cody even a modicum of some more credit at only 26-year-old, shut up, Pass John. Nobody fucking cares about your opinions, you dork.
Can I also add, though, that,
yes,
the praise that you give Sonata, we could probably just ditto that for Jay, because Jay works fucking safe as hell, too.
Dude, not only does he work safe while also working other people, because I love his heel fucking antics.
I feel like the least safe thing that he does is the sleeper plexus.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Dude, I love him and Ghetto together. I'm so happy that Ghetto didn't turn his back on him, and I really do believe,
I still think he's going to, man. I still think he's going to.
God, I hope you're wrong. And like, you know, again, it's not that I'm saying that, like, you know, I don't think that's feasible. I think it's 100% feasible.
I just really think that we're going to get a babyface Jay White, a babyface almost like a lone wolf Jay White.
And you know what though, dude? I have faith that that can succeed, and I have faith that that could be number one on both of our Fave Fives again.
Yeah. And if anyone is, and the thing is, I feel like, and you might not like this, but in my mind, if anyone would pick him up and help him to like get back his confidence and get back into the world title picture and stuff, it would actually be Tanahashi.
Well, you know what's so fascinating about that? I'm not as visceral to it as you might think, because when Jay White did come in with the Switchblade gimmick, who was his very first match against?
Yeah,
Tanahashi.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really, in my mind, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm, you know, doing like high fantasy here, but in my mind, at some point this year, Jay's going to fuck up. Evil's going to turn on him with Ghetto's support. Evil is going to reclaim his new role as the leader of the Bullet Club. Jay's going to be cast out. Jay's going to be at an absolute rock bottom. And Tanahashi's going to be the one to pick him up and help him to get back on his feet and maybe even win the G1 again. Or actually, I shouldn't say again.
Yeah.
Jay has actually won the G1. Jay has never won the G1 Climax. So this could be the year that Jay wins the G1.
You know what? I think I'll be actively rooting for him. I fucking love watching this dude compete. Hell, he's not even here. But I want to bring up, too, that fucking DBK said that Jay White supplanted Sasha fucking Banks as my number one favorite wrestler after Wrestle Kingdom. This dude, you talk about Finn operating on another level, and Edge said the same thing, and both of you are 100% right. I wouldn't disagree with either of your magnificent faces. But I would say personally, you could say the same about Jay. The work this dude is doing, like, people take a fucking note, please. Like, god damn. I am so excited for this dude's 2021, his 2022, his 2023, and I will end my side, because I did say I was going to run with it. I warned y'all that him sticking with New Japan, smartest move of his career, dude. Because now I am fascinated, and I'll tell you why. Because Kenny left when he was like white hot. AJ left. I don't know if you could say it was white hot, but he left at a good time when he'd be highly
valued. To me, the reason that AJ wasn't white hot when he left was because they intentionally, like, they knew that he was leaving, and they were just like, okay, we got to cool this guy down.
Exactly. But with Jay, I am so glad that this motherfucker is betting on himself. Because everybody thinks you only bet on yourself when you go to WWE. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I think this dude is betting on himself that, like, not only can I be the top heel, I bet you I can be a top babyface too when I eventually turn.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, whenever we say betting on yourself, when it comes to WWE, that's a lie. You're not betting on yourself when you go to WWE. You're betting on Vince. You're betting on the system that fails so many people. And you're basically rolling a fucking dice because you've got less than a 1 in 6 chance of being picked as one of the people that is going to be a winner in the WWE. And if you get any other number, which again, it's probably a lot less than 1 in 6, it's probably closer to 1 in, like, oh, I don't know, 50. But if you get any other number, you have to fight tooth and nail. You have to claw your way, not even to the top, to relevance. Like, you have to fucking work your ass off to get even mentioned, to get even looked at as somebody that could be anything in the WWE, unless you just randomly win the fucking lottery and they decide, yeah, you're exactly what we want. You're going to get pushed to the moon for no fucking reason.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you said everything perfectly. I think Jay legitimately betting on himself and what he can contribute to New Japan, you fucking love to say, especially too, because again, not to harp on the age, but him being 28, you know how heartbroken I'd be if Jay went to WWE and he didn't, like, maybe leave it, because I'm assuming he would eventually leave it out of frustration, until, like, 32, 35, whatever. These are the years where you make a fucking statement. And I even said in that tweet, not only do I think he's a better promo than Omega, and honestly for me, I think he's a better in-ring worker than Omega. I find his matches far more compelling than Kenny's right now, especially in the New Japan system where the competition is worthwhile. But, like, I really do believe because he's betting on himself.
Give fucking Jay a 60-minute time limit draw with Okada. See how that compares.
Yeah, I you know, honestly, legit on some real shit, yeah. Because he's betting on himself, I'm betting on Jay White because I said in the same tweet, he is well on his way to legend status, and I don't say that lightly. So I think that's how I'm going to punctuate it. Thank you for letting me have that. I was so excited to unveil him as my number one. He's been killing it. But now we go to Stardom. This is gonna be really good. Honorable mentions for me, because I believe you did honorable mentions for New Japan, so I start here. Utami, Konami, Shuri, Sayaka Mitani, Julia, Himeka, Natsupoi, Maika, Saki Kashima, and Unagi.
Nice. We have very, strikingly similar honorable mentions this time around.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah. So, again, and John, I really want you to pay attention here because I said this before and you still didn't quite pick up on it. I'm going from the person who is the closest to falling off of my honorable mentions list completely up to the end, the last name that I say in my honorable mentions will be the person who is the closest to breaking into my Fave 5.
Fair enough. Okay.
Mei Hoshizuki.
Okay.
Utami Hayashishita. Konami. Saki Kashima. Julia. Shuri. Sayaka Mitani. And the closest to being on my Fave 5, I actually struggled with this a little bit, Natsupoi.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Starting at number 5 for me. This might actually be my favorite Stardom list that I've done because it is quite different. I mean, already with Utami and Konami being in honorable mentions. Number 5 for me, Tam Nakano.
Oh, nice.
Tam is fucking amazing. I've loved her character development. I'm beginning to think that she's the constant in every great story that involves her, which isn't to shortchange the people that she shares the ring with, like a Julia or currently like a Mayu, but just that she is really compelling. Here was a woman that was in Oedo Tai at one time, got kicked out. Mayu picked her up. She got really protective of Mayu. And you know what? The funny thing about these stories was, and I would even be guilty of doing this as a fan, you always just associate Tam with other people. Like, oh, she's kind of like the Ishii. She's the gatekeeper. You never really value a performer like Tam on her own terms until now.
Yes.
And I think it's been wonderful. I think her in-ring is crisp as shit. I love her aesthetic. Just, she's really, again, much like a Jay White, I said earlier, she's cooking on all cylinders right now, and I think she's in one of the best storylines in Stardom right now, and I'm very grateful for it. So who starts off your 5 Fave 5?
I think that you're going to have her listed a little bit higher than me because she wasn't in your Fave 5, or in your honorable mention, I should say, but the fact that she has broken onto my onto my Fave 5 for the first time ever, I think still speaks volumes about how far along she's come. And that is Starlight Kid.
Very nice.
I've never had her in a Fave 5 before. I've had her in my honorable mention plenty of times. Actually, I want to look and make sure. I'm pretty sure I've never had her in my Fave 5 before, though. Let's see. Yeah, so first one, it was honorable mention. Oh, she was at, nope, that wasn't mine. That was my mom's. Honorable mention. Yeah, she's never been in my Fave 5 before. She's been in 4 or 5 of my honorable mentions, never made the list before. This is the first time ever that Starlight Kid makes the list, and it is with damn good reason because she has been fucking killing it lately. Her match with Tam was awesome. Her most recent match, I don't even remember who it was against, but the one where she used the fucking weird ass Hurricane Rana set up into the Tiger Suplex to win. I think
that was against Unagi. That was against Unagi, not to cut you off.
I think it was the Tiger Cyclone Suplex or something like that. But it was
the Tornado Star Suplex.
Thank you. The Tornado Star Suplex. Stardom's Sky Tiger is number 5 on my list, and I am so fucking proud of her and so happy with how much progress she has made just in the last 5 or 6 months alone, really. I feel like she has really had a fire lit under her in the last couple months, and it has really stood out to me, and I really wanted to recognize it here. So she made number 5.
Number 4 for me, Mayu Iwatani.
Mayu Iwatani is my number 4.
Amazing.
So again, we're kind of on the same page here. Same here.
So we both have the same. We both have the same number 4. Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, Mayu, you know what I think I'll say before I hand it off to you? Mayu is a lot like, again, a Jay White in that she bet on herself. When Kairi and Io were like, let's go to WWE, let's do our thing. Kairi, of course, now back in Japan. Io, NXT Women's Champion. Mayu's like, no, I believe in Stardom. I am Stardom. I'm going to stick around. What a fucking leader and what a fucking performer. I mean, the bumps she takes, her technical ability, her ability to take moves and make them seem like the most excruciating shit. Like that 2-stage dragon sleeper still makes me wince thinking about it. She's incomparable. She's incomparable. I think it actually was me that said, which is why it would be appropriate for me to say it again, that she is going to be the Toyota, the Minami Toyota of this generation. When people are wanting to break into Japanese women's wrestling or to see how other parts of the world do women's wrestling, Mayu is going to be that one that they'll look at their matches and be like, wow, is it still that cool today? And I hope we can say yes, and I do think we'll be able to, but what a fucking trailblazer this woman is. And so I wanted to give her number 4. But again, you had her in the same place, so what would you like to add, sir?
Really, for me, again, Mayu is just the perfect ace for any promotion. I don't think she would be willing to call herself an ace anymore because, again, she loves to uphold kayfabe and she refuses to accept the title ace when she's not the World of Stardom champion. And I gotta respect that.
Yes.
And she dropped the title to Utami, and ever since then, anytime someone's ever been like, "Oh, you're the ace," she's like, "No, I'm not. I'm the icon," because she just refuses. She's like, "No, I'm not the ace. As long as I'm not the world champion, I can't be the ace." But in my eyes, she's still the fucking ace. I don't care, champion or not. She's the true ace of Stardom. She is the heart and soul of Stardom in a lot of ways. She represents Stardom in a lot of ways. I mean, shit. When Ring of Honor started a working relationship with Stardom, who got sent over to win the world title? Fucking Mayu, right? So she really is the sort of, John Cena in a way of Stardom, in the sense that, like, she is the face of the company. She is the person that gets sent out to do all of the publicity and stuff like that. She's the one that's on all the talk shows and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just her. That's just who she is. She's the ace. And from an in-ring standpoint, she's untouchable. Like, she's insanely athletic. She's superhuman flexible. I think that we've said enough about Mayu over the course of the last few Fave Fives that I don't want to get repetitive and keep droning on about how wonderful she is. But she is wonderful. And if anyone does deserve to be droned on about, it's probably her. So she's awesome.
Well said, friend. Number 3 for me, Momo Watanabe.
Beautiful.
Incredible performer, and I mean, so fucking young. Isn't she still in like 20 now? She's 20 now. But
she'll
my
be 21
God,
in March. 21 in March.
Between being so technically fucking sound and just strikes for days. I mean, we will be covering the January 30th Stardom show tomorrow at 5 p.m. She did have her SWA International Championship match against Shuri on that show. And that's pretty much the appropriate reaction, yes. And she's unbelievable. I think you could even say, and I'm sure, Ashton, you wouldn't be against this, given I know how hard you're pulling for it, the uncrowned red belt champion in Momo. Like, yep. I really just feel like that title does have a home with her eventually. And she's just so fucking good. It's undeniable. So, like you, I don't want to get repetitive with any of my praise, but keep an eye out for Momo, people. She'll blow your goddamn mind. So who's next on your Fave 5?
Because this is a subjective list, I was able to list this woman at somewhere other than 1. But if it was an objective list and I was listing who I thought the best performers were in any given promotion, Tam Nakano would take number 1. But she's number 3 for me here, because I absolutely adore her, but my top 2, I just, on that personal level, I just get more excited to see them than I get with her. But still, Tam is just flat out wonderful. She's an exceptional storyteller, I think, is really what the big thing is with her. She's able to make you care about her. She's able to make you care about people that she interacts with on a level that might be unprecedented in wrestling, low-key. The way that she is able to just make you feel things And it's not even like a sexual thing either. I'm not talking about like, oh, she's making my weenie tinkle or anything like that. We're talking about literally like making you feel emotions, like making you feel like, oh my God, I want you to succeed, or oh my God, fuck you, or oh my God, how could you hurt her like this? Like that kind of stuff. She is the best in wrestling, I would say overall today, at making you get emotionally invested in the product. And I think that there's something really special to be said about that, because isn't that what this business is supposed to be about?
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah. In the ring, she's great. I'm not gonna say that she's the best. She's very, very good. I would say that out of the 5 women in my Fave Five, she's probably the 4th best in the ring. In Stardom, she's probably no, she's definitely top 10 in the ring in Stardom. But I wouldn't necessarily say that she's a lock for top 5, because, like I said, she's very, very good. She's great even, but in ring is probably her weak point, and she's still great at it. But like the promos, you know, the storylines, the heart that she puts into it, she's just got all the boxes checked. Tam Nakano is amazing.
Beautifully said, friend. Number 2 for me, and maybe number 1 for you, Azumi.
Did you say
Azumi
number 3 for you or number 2 for you?
Number 2 for me, because number 3 was Momo for me.
Yeah.
So number 2 for me, Azumi.
Yes.
Again, you guys have heard us gush about her during Stardom Live reactions and in past Five Fave Fives. She's a fucking prodigy. She's brilliant. She's got such a presence, is the word I would use for her. She walks into an arena and you know this is what a wrestler looks like. This is what a wrestler feels like. Javaris, yeah, we will get back to that. But no, she's impeccable. She's fucking immaculate in that ring. The idea that she can do the what do you want to call it, like chain roll-ups or like a hot roll-ups, you know, just back and forth with these people and never miss a fucking beat. You know, we watched, and I know it kind of agitated you as some of the things fell out, but we watched Strokovic Okametal's kind of ranking of people. I think Azumi is one of the most technical people on the fucking roster, and it's just a privilege to witness. And yeah, I cannot wait for the day that this woman becomes Red Belt champion, because it's happening. Everybody just has to get on board. It's fucking happening. Future world champion, Azumi. It's her era. It's her kingdom. We're all just dwelling in it. So who's next on your Five Fave Five?
Oh, man. Number 2 on my Five Fave Five here for Stardom is, I feel like I'm kind of following in your footsteps here, John, because she was number 3 for you, number 2 for me, Momo Watanabe. At this point, I'm kind of just going by, like, gauging my own reactions. And, like, I just know whenever Momo is on my TV, I get excited. I get happy. I'm like, oh, yes, holy shit, yes, Momo, let's fucking go. I'm always rooting for her, even over other people that I also like. Like, you already know I was rooting for her over Utami. I root for her over pretty much everyone. I just fucking love Momo, man. Her promos are great. I love the passion that she consistently shows, both on the mic and in the ring. Facial expressions on point, body language on point, strikes are amazing, suplexes are amazing. I love the flow of her matches and the way that she'll come sometimes kind of tease. She's going to do a Samato, but then she'll pull out a drop kick so that when she does hit the Samato, it's actually a little bit of a surprise. I fucking love Momo as a storyteller also, but in a completely different way from Tam. Because with Tam, her storytelling style is much more about like getting you emotionally involved. Whereas with Momo, it's much more about getting you like drawn in. Like with Tam, she's like trying to get you to feel things. With Momo, she just wants you to pay attention. And holy shit, do I ever when she's on my screen. So Momo number 2.
You guys all know where this is going, or you should if you've been paying attention to our live reactions.
Oh, I'm here.
And Javaris, Javaris, it's why I'm so happy you're here, because
can I do this? Can I do something real quick?
Yeah.
I want to take a screenshot of what I just typed. And I want you to see that I typed this before you say it out loud so that you know that I know.
Okay.
There it is. Send it to you on Facebook.
Yep. Yep. Number one for me is Starlight fucking Kid. Starlight Kid is really interesting to me because she showed me something about myself that I think I always knew, but she really brings it to the surface. What I fucking love about pro wrestling is the motherfucking journey. Like, here's the thing. The guy's a piece of shit now, so I feel bad referencing him, but I do have to give credit where credit is due. Max Landis, when he did Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, likened wrestling to any other TV show, and what he emphasized is wrestling as characters that you see progress through the seasons. Just to give arbitrary numbers here to move the discussion along, say 2002 was season 1. Jeff Hardy's competing for the Undisputed Championship against The Undertaker in a ladder match. Man, that's fucking wild, they say. Came this close to winning it. Fast forward a few years, he's finally WWE Champion. And for a lot of Jeff Hardy fans, it's the journey, which for the record was going on even before that, obviously. And to see it culminate that way, there's a catharsis. And we love the journey. We love watching people that compel us, that kind of sees us get to that stage that they want to get at. And no one exemplifies this for me in pretty much all of wrestling right now than Starlight Kid. This confidence she's developed. How refined her moveset's become. That tornado star suplex. Stardom's Sky Tiger that she's again puffing her chest out saying, no, this is who I am in Stardom's organization. I want her to win the fucking Cinderella tournament. I want her to challenge Julia. Now, I won't go as far as to say I want her to beat Julia, although I'd mark the fuck out if she did.
I know, dude, I would too.
I just want to see her test herself and her confidence. It's the same way for all of you DBZ nerds out there. When Vegeta gains a new power level, he's like all of us. I wonder how far I could take this before I'm owned by Goku or the primary antagonist. Starlight Kid, I don't want you to be content fighting fucking minnows, girl. No, I want you to go for the great white fucking shark. And I want you to come back with those battle scars and say to yourself, even amidst all the disappointment, man, that was fucking fun. I can't wait to do it again.
Dude, I just want to say, I don't know if you know this, in Japan, you're considered an adult when you're 20 years old. Did you know that?
I did know that because we've talked about that before, but I'll be honest, I'm glad you brought it up again.
Yeah, because Momo had almost like a coming of age ceremony last year when she turned 20. Starlight Kid is going to be 20 years old in August.
Oh my God, it's her fucking year. I kept saying it's the 2021 year of Starlight Kid. I want her in the ring with Julia. I want her to vie for that white belt. And to be honest, I love Julia. Make no mistake about it, to the chagrin of some.
Dude, she did a gagging motion with her finger.
Perfect. Perfection. This is one white belt defense since Konami, which again, Konami was an honorable mention for me. That's in large part because I knew in my bones Starlight Kid was number one.
Dude, Konami, I feel like Konami has fallen off so hard since she joined Oedo Tai just because she's not the leader. Like, if they would make her the leader, I would be so much more behind her.
Same, dude. Absolutely, 100% same. And while she's kind of cooling down, Starlight's doing nothing but heating up, man. Because here's the thing, too. You mentioned the match with Tam, and I agree with you completely. Fantastic match. And you'd think after losing that big match, is that it? Is Starlight just going to go back to being, happy to be with my, No, because a few events later, she debuts the Tornado Star Suplex. Holy fucking shit.
She's like, okay, if I can't have the Tiger Suplex, I'll just use it anyway with a little extra attached so that I avoid copyright strikes.
Exactly. I love that
this is transformative. This is transformative. Damn it, you can't copyright me.
I love that this woman, because we're all just like, come on, you can't have everything. And Starlight's like, yes, I can. Now, what do I mean by that? Her aesthetic is like pure white meat babyface, but her attitude's got that edge to her. So she can be both that pure babyface and be edgy. And also, I love that this woman can own the pain of a loss, which you should fucking do. but also like not be deterred by it. She loses to Tam. She's like, I'm still going to go beyond Tam, and this is how we do it. I adore this woman. And, like, I'm going to send this to her. Because she's liked 2 of my tweets where I've tagged her, so she sees the tweets. And God knows if anybody needs encouragement, it's fucking Joshi wrestlers for how they unnecessarily get bullied by fucking assholes. So I'm going to send this to her. And because of that, and I'm guessing she'll hear this, I'll speak to her directly, which I never do on a 5v5. You are beautiful. Okay? You are beautiful, and we are so proud of you. And I'm not even trying to, like, be okie over the top. No, seriously. We are so proud of your growth. How you have gone, and I think, what was the number you gave, Ashton? Like 6 months' time? 6 months' time.
I feel like the growth really started when she lost the opportunity at the high-speed title. When that big match happened where Azumi beat her, when Azumi pinned her, and she really was pissed off and she like slammed her hand on the mat and stuff, that I feel like triggered something in her because she has been on this absolute rocket path of growth ever since.
We are so proud of you. We are in awe of you. I'm in awe of you because you're number 1 on my list. I'll be handing it over to my partner here in a second, but just speaking to you directly, do not stop until you want to. I don't care whatever haters you may or may not have. Fuck them. I don't even know if you understand that, but that's pretty much saying that they don't matter. Okay? They don't matter. You are brilliant at what you do inside that ring. I want you to be our Wonder of Stardom champion. I am so fucking here for everything you're doing, and it is just the just best fucking part for me of watching Stardom is watching your journey unfold. You are astounding. You are a credit to women's wrestling, and never entertain any notion that tells you otherwise. I yield the floor to you, friend.
3 weeks from now, we're going to get a Stardom show, and during a pre-match promo, Starlight's going to be like, I've been getting a lot of haters lately. Fuck them. We're going to watch this.
Yes! I am so ready for that. I am so ready for that big Starlight energy right there. Yes. All right. I think I know your number 1 is, but I never tire of hearing you talk about it.
Oh, you do. You do. It's Azumi. Of course it is.
Talk about it.
I mean, come on. Like, technical master, high-flying princess, just the real queen, like the uncrowned queen. I mean, we've been saying it for years at this point. It has to be years. Azumi is the true heir to the fucking throne. Azumi is the heir to Io's throne. Momo has been sitting in its spot, keeping that warm for Azumi. But when Azumi is ready for it, and when she is of age to take that throne, it fucking belongs to her. And I honestly, at this point, I feel like she already is ready for it, but we just need the numbers to line up. We need her to hit that 20-year-old age before they're actually ready to give her the keys to the kingdom, because right now she is on another level. She's in another zone. She ended up coming down, landing with my, I want to say, underrated match of the year 2020. I just want to pull up our year-end awards to make sure that I'm not just tripping right now. Underrated match of the, it wasn't that. Oh, she ended up with my my spot of the year. The whole pin exchange.
Nice.
The pin exchange with Meiho Shizuki at the Sendai Cinderella show on December 20th, which is included in this grading period. I don't know if you knew that or not, but the fact that that show is included in this makes Azumi number 1 an absolute no-brainer, because that match alone is enough to put her over the top, and you kind of top that off with all of the amazing work that she's been doing outside of just that one match. I mean, she had a match with Kaori Yoneyama, for fuck's sakes. Like, she literally brought Kaori out of quote-unquote retirement. She made Kaori take off the death face paint and wrestle her as Kaori. It was a great match. It was a short match, but it was so good. Azumi is my absolute favorite right now. And she and Momo both, like, anytime that they show up on my screen, I get very excited. I get all like, oh, here we fucking go. Like, all, like all uppity and stuff like that. I absolutely adore both of them. But in this instance, Azumi takes the 1 spot. You could make the argument that it's more of a 1A, 1B situation, but I do think that there is just barely noticeable amount of gap between Azumi and Momo, between 1 and 2. So Azumi at number 1 is pretty great.
Like your face, friend. Like your face. All right. with that said, we cool down because it's the other category. I'm just going to say right now, dude, this is all you because I didn't have any honorable mentions. You know I already struggled to begin with to come up with 5. So I have
to
no
be fair, I'm supposed
here.
to be going first for this category anyway, since I've finished a lot.
Well, yeah, that's why I was going to say, though, like, you could just have all of it. So, yeah.
Okay. Again, starting at the bottom, working my way up to what would effectively be my number 6 at the end. Mirai Mayumi from TJPW. She's the powerhouse. I find her very intriguing. She is going to be challenging Yuki Kamifuku, aka Kamiyu, for the International Princess Championship at an upcoming show. I actually hope she wins it because she is relatively young. She's a great powerhouse wrestler, and I see big things in her future. I honestly, like, she's one of the, like, maybe 4 or 5 women in TJPW that I would actually look forward to seeing in Stardom. Next up, actually, believe it or not, I actually had 2 Impact Wrestling names on my list here because I did watch an episode. Su Yung makes my honorable mention list because of her ability to play 3 different characters. She is Su Yung. She's also Susie, who is like this cutesy, like almost schoolgirl type character, and she's also Susan, who is a serious Karen-style reporter. And
oh my god,
entertaining. I dig it. I dig the 3 personality thing. Next up, May St. Michelle, or as you will know her in the upcoming AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament, May Suruga. Big fan of hers. I've really grown to appreciate her work. It's mostly because she's finally getting out of only working Gato Move. She only worked Gato Move for the longest time, and now she's also working in TJPW, and she's teaming with Saki-sama, which is like, yes, please. And you will hear Saki-sama again later on this show, just so you know. And she's a great high-speed wrestler. I saw earlier something about what's the best way to describe Mei Suruga. And the way that I saw her described was she's Riho if you added Emi Sakura's viciousness and mean streak to Riho, because obviously Riho's like this total sweetheart, right? So yeah, like if you would take Riho and you take like this cutesy, like young, great wrestler and give her a fucking mean streak and just make her just perfectly willing to like poke eyes and scratch backs and trip people and kick shins and like shitty little things like that, you get Mei Suruga. She's awesome. Next up on my honorable mention is Tennille Dashwood. That's a pretty easy one. Next up is Saori Ano. I love her. I want to see more of her. That's all I can really say here. And the final member of my honorable mention, the person who was the closest to making my actual Fave 5 list, is Yuka Sakizaki, which we will be seeing more of in AEW's Eliminator Tournament. Very excited about that. So since you don't have any honorable mentions and I'm the one that's supposed to be going first here, I will just go straight to my number 5 on my other list, which is Chris Bay, another Impact performer that we've also seen wrestle in the Super J Cup during this grading period. Absolutely love this dude. Very excited to see more of him. I think he's on the younger side too. I want to say he's like 24, 25 years old. 24 years old. That's insane. He's turning 25 in 11 or 9 days, and he's awesome already. The dude's fucking shredded. He's a little bit bigger than Leo Rush, which gives me hope that he could actually be seen as a main event star in some places. He's an amazing worker. He's charismatic as hell. A lot to like about Chris Bay. So, John, who was your number 5?
Number 5 for me. Let me pull it up. Brian Cage.
Ooh.
Again, treating this as wrestlers that I really should check in on that I know once upon a time I really liked. Cage, I mean, to me, he's an athletic freak with a look for days. I mean, the dude, he's fucking Wolverine.
Have you seen the video?
I don't know, man.
Have you seen the video where somebody put a sticker on his back and he couldn't get it off because he's too fucking muscle bound?
No, but that's hilarious.
There's this video, someone just slaps a sticker on his back and he's trying to reach around, but he's got too many muscles blocking his flexibility. He can't reach it. So he's just a goddamn sticker on his back.
Yeah, that's wow. But yeah, I know that I adored him in Lucha Underground. I still feel like he should have been a Lucha Underground champion, one of the rare missteps of that company. I know he's in this whole thing with Taz, which, like, I don't know. Okay.
Team Taz, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a shame that WWE is trash, because if WWE was a better company, I'd be itching for this guy to be WWE champion. I think this dude personifies pro wrestling. I mean, God, you ever want a burst of testosterone and get motivated to work out? Just look at this motherfucker.
Can you imagine if Brian Cage would decide to go to New Japan? Holy shit.
Dude, him versus Cobb, like, take all of my money. Because we already saw it in Lucha Underground. I just want to see it again. That's all.
I mean, it would be good, but I'm more thinking, like, they already pushed guys like Stan Hansen to the moon as, like, world champion types, and then look at Cage. Like...
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, that's like, who was the guy that was the IWGP heavyweight champion that everyone was just like, oh, why would you put the title on him? Back in like 2003. Who was it? Where is it? Bob Sapp. Bob Sapp can come in and be an IWGP heavyweight champion, why not Brian Cage, right?
Exactly. All right. So that was number 5 for me. Who's next on your list?
Number 5 for me, I already did. So number 4 for me is Miyu Yamashita, the pink striker, as they call her. Somebody who I've seen a few clips of on the Abema TV show The Night. She is hilarious. Her sense of humor is actually genuinely funny, genuinely good. And then you've also got the fact that she's a fucking murderer in the ring. Like, her reverse roundhouse kick looks like she's taking heads off, or at the very least concussing people. She has this amazing in the corner spin kick that she does that's almost Rey Fenix-esque. I just think that she is one of those talents that, like, it's like her, Maki Ito, Yuka Sakazaki, and like I mentioned earlier, Mirai Mayumi. I think that those 4 specifically are all legit, just too good for TJPW. Like, TJPW is just too small of a stage for them, and I want them to get more exposure. But if I had to only pick 1 or 2, it would be Ito first, Yamashita second, and I guess that's all I really need to say about that. I think that Miyu is an exceptional talent that needs a bigger platform.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking, I hope one day she goes somewhere where I actually, like, actively watch, because she is a killer. She's absolutely fucking fantastic. 4 for me, Jon Moxley.
Nice.
Yeah, I really, he's such a great talker, and he really does have a great energy. I feel like he's cooled down a little bit from his initial stock of, like, leaving WWE and just being, like, white hot, but that's not really his fault. I think that's just the passage of time. We're always looking for the next new thing, but he's still freaking astounding at what he does. And yeah, I definitely need to check in on him, especially with things with him and Kenta heating up, which that match should be fucking insane. I can't.
Did you see what the main event of next week's Dynamite is supposed to be?
What is it?
Moxley and Lance Archer versus Kenny Omega and Kenta.
Very interesting. So yeah, I'll have to check in on Moxley.
I'm fully expecting Moxley and Archer to win that, because I don't think Kenny's going to, or Kent stand for Kenny's tactics.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I'm inclined to give the win to Moxley Archer, so I'll have to see how that goes. Who's next on your list?
Next up on my list, number 3 is Saki-sama. I mentioned her earlier, and I said you'd be hearing her name again, and here she is. She's been actually wrestling in TJPW much more in the recent months, with her new disciple, Mei Suruga, who is known in TJPW as Mei St. Michelle. They've been doing a lot of tag team stuff. I don't think they've won the tag titles yet, but it feels very inevitable at this point that they will. It seems like every time Saki-sama gets a new disciple, she wins the tag titles with her. But yeah, they're fucking great. She's, like, honestly, dude, if I could snap my fingers and be given instant access to any one wrestler in Japan's entire library of matches in a way that, like, dynamically updated, where, like, every time they wrestled a new match, it became available in this, like, mystical archive that I could just watch it. First choice would be Saki-sama. I think my second choice would be Saori Ano. I really want to see more of her too, but if I had to choose between the two of them, it would be Saki-sama because I feel like her matches are better than Saori. Saori is, there's other reasons why I love her, but Saki-sama's matches are fucking amazing. She is everything that Lady C in Stardom should be aspiring to be. She's like 5'9". She's lanky, but she throws some of those brutal strikes you're ever going to see, especially from a tall, skinny lady. Her psychology is what, once you get past the look, which she's fucking gorgeous, tall, skinny, like, the look is the first thing that you're going to notice when you see a Saki-sama match. And then the strikes is going to be the second thing. The third thing, though, that you're going to notice, and really, to me, the thing that I think most people might overlook about her, is her in-ring psychology is fucking amazing. Her in-ring storytelling, the facial expressions, all of the other stuff, other than just the moves that you do, she is so good at it. And that's what I saw in Sasha Banks back in NXT that really drew me to her, was like all of the stuff that you do in between the moves. The selling, the acting, the facial expressions, the body, like all the extra stuff that a lot of people don't really pay as much attention to. That's all the stuff that drew me to Sasha Banks and made me really like her, especially after she turned heel on Paige. Saki-sama nails all that stuff too. She is so good. And again, like, I wish her matches were more accessible. I wish that I was able to just watch her matches without having to like get a subscription and scroll through an entire show trying to find a specific match because it's not actually given timestamps and shit like that, or matches aren't like separated out or anything. I just wish that I could just see her matches. And I would watch probably every single one of them when they came out because that's how into her matches I am. So, Saki-sama, easy number 3 for me. Who's your number 3, John?
Funny that we both have women's wrestlers in this spot. Thunder Rosa.
Nice.
I think she's an exceptional talent. I freaking loved her match on the One Dynamite. This is a while back, I think well beyond the bounds of the grading period, but against Serena Deeb. I think she's always been a solid in-ring worker, sweetheart of a fucking person. And I think is she still doing the like the NWA women, like NWA Power Women's?
I think she actually has an upcoming match with Sienna in a steel cage.
That should be very interesting. I really, as a promotion too, I should check out more NWA Power for no other reason what they're doing with the women, because it does seem somewhat interesting. But yeah, Thunder Rosa, number 3 for me. Fucking adore the woman, and we'll always remember her fondly as Cobra Moon. So yeah, who's next on your list, bud?
Number 2 on my other list is Rey Fenix, the second guy on the list, and the only representative on the list from AEW. Honestly, if he, let me rephrase that. If God, there's no if here. Rey Fenix is number 2, and he's probably not going to be above number 1 or above number 2 because of who I have at number 1. But at the end of the day, Rey Fenix is like, if we were to start a new wrestling promotion from scratch, I think Rey Fenix would be like my number 1 overall pick for a guy. Well, that's maybe not fair, but if we were, international, if we're going, fuck it, never mind, fuck it. Phoenix is a goddamn prodigy. He's incredible in the ring. I'm trying to find ways to describe him hyperbolically, but I can't figure out anything that's actually logical. So fuck it. He's incredible. He does things in the ropes that you've never seen before. He's one of the most athletic wrestlers on the planet, and quite frankly, I just want to watch him wrestle more, and it's really sad to me that he's saddled in AEW. I'm thankful that they're finally giving him a singles push, but I'm sad that it took his brother getting injured for them to finally decide to do it.
Yeah, pretty much copy paste. Phoenix is just scintillating to watch in the ring. Number 2 for me, Darby Allin.
Nice.
Very intriguing too, given that, again, I've only been following little clues here and there. He might be in a match with Sting, maybe, possibly. I don't even know. But he has been
partners.
With
I know
Sting,
that they're tag partners.
Huge deal for him. Oh, tag partner. Well, that's even still a huge deal for him. For Darby to get that rub, I think is very cool for him because he's still so young yet. And obviously he's part of that very risk-taking style. Certainly the furthest thing from risk-averse. But he's got a cool look, interesting promos. I like his promo style. In the ring, he's a lot of fun. And again, rubbing shoulders with Sting, I think just shows you how AEW, in their own minds at least, really value him. So, yeah, I got to check in on him at some time before the next Five Fave Five and really see what he's been up to, because he's just he's a great prospect. So who's next on your list?
Omateshimashita! Sekai's kawaii no wa. John, you're supposed to answer. Come on.
Maki Ito?
Ito-chan! Yeah, you got
There it is. I knew it was Maki Ito at the first time. I'm like, I know I've heard that before, but I didn't want to say Maki Ito, and you just be like, no, it was this part. I'd be like, oh,
No,
fuck.
no, you would have nailed it. You
no.
would have nailed it. You did a good recovery, though. Good job. Yeah, it's Ito-chan. She's... Oh, God, she's so good. She is... I almost want to say, yeah, no, fuck it. She's transcendent to me. She is... legitimately, I can't fucking wait for a national audience, an international audience, I should say, to finally see her. It's, God, I hate to put it this way, but it's almost a shame that it's AEW, because I feel like AEW's audience is also the most likely audience to already know who the fuck she is. And I want to see her get introduced to a wider audience rather than just getting shown to people that already know who the fuck she is. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so, bud. I don't think you're off the mark there.
Yeah, because like to me, I want to see Maki Ito get introduced to like an audience that is like more casual wrestling fans, or really not even wrestling fans, but just like casual viewers who tune into wrestling every now and then to laugh at it. I want Maki Ito to get introduced to that audience, because I know that she would catch on. She would be such a quick, like, let me just put it this way. Maki Ito is female Orange Cassidy, except the gimmick isn't a gimmick. It's literally just fucking her. Like, she is female Orange Cassidy, except she's not putting the gimmick on. It's literally just her turned up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. She really is. Like, I'm telling you, women's wrestling, when we talk about the characters and this and that, she really has that it factor. I really believe that. Like, I will, dude, on my deathbed, yeah.
Even if she didn't have the gimmick that she has, which is literally like the perfect gimmick for right now, I still think that she would get by on that charisma that you're talking about, because she is insanely charismatic. She's super cute. I mean, her whole gimmick is the cutest in the world, right? Like, that's the whole thing with the Sakai Chikwai Noa that I was saying, that I was asking you to respond to, was like, who's the cutest wrestler in the world? Maki Ito. Like, that's the tagline, right? But then, like, she's charismatic. She's super, like, she's really good at talking, and like, even in English, her English promos are really good. Like, have you seen that segment of her on the mic interacting with Thunder Rosa?
I don't think I have. Think I have.
Thunder Rosa gets up in Maki Ito's face, and she's just like, oh, you've never faced a real competitor like me before. She's basically trying to challenge Ito, because this is when Ito had the international championship. And Ito was like, what? I'm the Japanese. What did you say? And then,
nice.
Then Thunder Rosa said in Japanese, she was like, Beruto Hoshi. Basically, she said, I want the belt. I want your belt, is what she was saying, right? In Japanese.
Yes.
And Ito got this smile on her face, and then she cut this long-winded, repetitive promo. I don't even know what she was saying, but like, the inflections of her voice and her facial expressions and the intensity, and like, she got all up in Rosa's face, and she was like 4 inches away from kissing her on the mouth. And then like Rosa, they were doing like the middle finger thing, but then like she had it up near Rosa's face, and then Rosa like shoved her hand into Ito's face and was like pushing her away, and then Ito started doing the same thing to her, and they were just middle fingering each other's faces, and then Rosa shoved Ito, and Ito just had to get the last word in, and in the last second she's like screams something, and she spazzes out on the mat, and like, you don't have to understand what she's saying to appreciate how great of like an overall performer she is. And the beautiful thing is, you can understand what she's saying sometimes, because she speaks pretty fucking good English. Like, she literally did an entire podcast in English without a translator around, where the dude had no experience interviewing people that didn't understand English, and he didn't even do that good of a job interviewing her, but she was still able to come off super likable, super just, she was able to answer the questions about as well as you would expect somebody that barely knows the language would. And like, she was completely understandable. She barely had an accent. Like, she's so ready for an American audience. It's unbelievable. And like, she's like a Twitter celebrity. Like, I'm surprised. And dude, speaking of Twitter celebrity, did you see she was trending worldwide last night? She was like in the top 20 trending worldwide on Twitter.
Dude, that's fucking awesome for her. I
And like,
love
she's
hearing that.
never been on American TV before. That's how big of a deal she is. That's how internet famous she is. And now she's actually going to get to work in front of an American audience. Are you kidding me? Like, she's going to get to do her headbutts, and she's going to get to do her Sekaiichi Kawaii no A spot. Well, she's probably actually going to say who's the cutest in the world in English, because we know she can, because that's what she did at the Pro Wrestling Eve show a couple years ago, or it might have been last year. I don't know, fucking Corona time. But like, yeah, I'm so excited to just see her career explode the way that, say, even Orange Cassidy's did when he started wrestling in AEW. Because let's be real, Orange Cassidy as a talent is nothing special. He just has a great gimmick that connects with people. Maki Ito has the exact same gimmick, and she's a better overall performer. She stands out more in other ways than Orange Cassidy does.
Yeah, dude, I mean, you know how I feel about AEW, but I do have to say I am grateful to them for platforming her in such a big way as part of this tournament. And here's the thing, dude. I don't know if you saw this. Even Cody said he wants her to win. And, like, that may mean that she's going to stick around a while in this fucking tournament, which is great for her. Because
did you see her tweets last night?
I think I only saw maybe one of them. I really didn't see many.
She said, this was last night at, let's see, can I find a timestamp here? It was probably at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night for us. Let's see. 10:35 p.m. last night. She tweeted, the dream of going to the high school I wanted to go to, the dream of becoming a manga artist, the dream of succeeding as an idol, all didn't come true. But my dream of going to AEW has come true. Next, I will fulfill my dream of becoming a star at AEW. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, dude, if they really commit to her, which again, AEW's been a bit shaky with their women. Of course, it's been a hot minute since we checked in. She's gonna get a lot of eyes on her, and I'd be curious to see if she draws. See, this is gonna be the real test for us, because I know you're all about like the numbers and the data. I'm curious when she has a segment if it draws or not, if it gains viewers or if it detracts viewers. I'm willing to bet that it gains viewers. That's the bet that I'm making on Maki Ito.
I mean, maybe not right at first, but I think that she's going to create enough buzz that I think. Here's my thing. I think Orange Cassidy is too small to be a real draw in wrestling. I think that because Maki Ito is A, woman, and B, an average-sized woman, and not like overly small or tiny or anything, and even if she was, it probably wouldn't matter. I think she can be a real money draw. I genuinely do believe and really, if you want me to be completely honest and completely just fucking cards on the table, I think she can be the biggest star in the wrestling world.
I do too. Dude, you know, I've said on my end of things that I will go to my deathbed thinking about if it hasn't happened, and I doubt it will, her performing a concert at a WrestleMania and just getting everybody on their feet.
Dude, that's what I'm like. And the thing is, like, you heard me say, even without her gimmick, blah, 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 and I went off talking about how great she is and all the other stuff. But we got to bring the gimmick into account, because the gimmick is very real. The gimmick is literally her, and the gimmick is quintessential millennial lifestyle mindset. Like, literally, if you want to draw in a younger audience, if you want to draw in the millennial audience, the Zoomer audience, if you want that younger audience, Orange Cassidy is one way to do it. But if you want to really get it done and like bring in women too, fucking Maki Ito is going to be the one that does that. Because I guarantee you, Maki Ito, if they handle her correctly, which I feel like it's kind of hard to screw up with her, but you never fucking know with them. If they handle it correctly, I genuinely feel like Maki Ito could literally bring in pop ratings, we'll put it that way. She could literally pop ratings and lower the median age of the viewership of AEW.
I believe it. I'll go in on that bet. Absolutely. I have all the faith in the world in Maki Ito.
Because like I said, if you think about like what's Orange Cassidy, right? Orange Cassidy's whole thing is that like he's a millennial. Like people see him as lazy, but he's just trying to get by on the bare minimum. He's trying to do as little as he can to still win. Maki Ito, the thing about millennials that she embodies is that the whole world wants her to fail, and she will not stay down. Like, she gets knocked down over and over and over again. She loses and she gets beaten down, and she has like the pride, and she's just like, I'm so good, I know I can do this, I can beat you. And then she doesn't, and instead of being like fucking, well, I mean, this is a bad example because we loved it when he did it, but instead of being like Jay White and being like, well, I think I'm gonna quit now, she keeps getting up. That is such a fucking millennial, like, relatable. Are you kidding me? Like, fucking student loan debt, a shattered economy, the fucking world is going to hell, we've got the climate in crisis, and all the shit was just dropped on the generation that we call millennials, and we keep fighting through it. Like, we keep fucking going. We keep trying our best to make things better. And that is literally Maki Ito. That is her fucking mindset. And I love, like, that's why I keep saying she's the voice of a generation, because she's literally millennial personified to me.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful sentiment. I can't top that. If there's anything else you want to say about Maki Ito, feel free, but I'll just move right along to my number one. Because yeah,
do it.
Okay, just very basic. MJF. Last I saw, he was in the Inner Circle. I didn't know if he was going to try and get the Inner Circle to turn on Jericho. It seemed like, if anything, they might turn on him because they find him so annoying. I know some people are rooting for him to take over the Inner Circle. I don't know how that's going to go. I still, though, just really love that world title match he had against Mox a while back. And I haven't really checked in on him being a member of the Inner Circle, mainly because I still feel a bit gypped. I feel like he should have been world champion. But, you know, it's cool. We got Kenny now. That's okay, I guess. But I definitely have to check in on him because I do think, I'll say before the end of 2022, I'll give myself a nice wide berth. Before the end of 2022, I think he'll be AEW world champion. And I still think, wait, how old is he now? Is he 22 or is he 24 right now? How old is he? I got to look that up real quick. All right. I love that. Okay, he's 24 right now. I'd say before he's 28 or like on his 28th year, I could see him being a part of WWE. I think he said he signed like a 5-year AEW contract. I don't know how long ago that was, but I still think he has a lot to offer. I can see where people are coming from with the promos and maybe being a bit try-hard, but I think, you know, maybe in this case an NXT system would help. I don't know. But I'm still very interested in how he'll develop in, like, the next 6 years. When he hits his 30s, I'll be curious what kind of wrestler he'll be. I'll put it that way. So he's my number one. And, yeah, with that said, your number one was Maki Ito, so we can go to our overall top 10. So, partner, who rounds out your top 10? Who comes in at number 10 for you?
You go first.
Oh, I go first on this. Nice. Momo Watanabe for number 10 for me.
Nice. Number 10 for me, Rey Fénix.
Sweet. Number 9 for me, Kota Ibushi.
Number 9 for me, Tam Nakano.
Number 8 for me, Santos Escobar.
I feel like we're on the same page here because number 8 for me is Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Number 7 for me, Bianca Belair.
Another woman for me as well, number 7, Maki Ito.
Number 6 for me, Juice Robinson.
Another New Japan guy for me is Juice. You said Juice. My number 6 is Kota Ibushi.
Number 5 for me is Azumi.
Oh, this is where we break away. Number 5 for me is Jay White.
Interesting. Number 4 for me, Roman Reigns.
Nice. Number 4 for me, Momo Watanabe.
Now we get to the top 3. Number 3 for me, Starlight Kid.
Beautiful. I love it. Number 3 for me, Daniel Bryan.
Number 2 for me.
Do you remember when I said that he was my number 1 male wrestler right now?
Yes.
So
yes.
That's my number 3 overall.
So number 3 for me, Starlight Kid. Number 2 for me, Jay White.
Wow. Number 2 for me, Azumi.
All right, number 1 for me. Oh, it feels good because he's a father. Damn it. Kevin fucking Owens.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And what also makes sense is number 1 for me being Io Shirai, because of course she is.
Yes, Io again, just with that face. I know. Keep showering me with praise. Of course, yep. Io-san.
And meanwhile, I'm down on my knees doing the hands praising thing.
Yeah, exactly. You're just looking at me like, work on your form, damn it. I'm sorry, I'm trying. It's so hard. But no, that'll round out 5 Fave 5. I fucking love this video series. I love that I got to celebrate. Really, the people I was most excited about celebrating in this particular commentary were Starlight Kid and Jay White. Because holy fuck, are they doing it for me right now? And yes, of course, Kevin Owens, because he was number one. And I feel like it's been a while since I've celebrated Kevin Owens that way. So yeah, it really does come down to my top three that I couldn't wait to celebrate today. Starlight Kid, Jay White, Kevin Owens. And by the way, folks, for the record, I just want to say that it was a last-minute decision to put Jay White at number two, because Starlight Kid was actually there before Jay White. But his promos, though, are so fucking good. Like, yeah. I'm like, his promos are crack to me right now. When he talks, I listen, like, straight up. And you know what, Javaris, you say that, but what I love about Ashton is I think he's very receptive to change. So I'm actually more fascinated about who's going to knock Io off her perch, because it's going to happen. And it'll probably happen incrementally. First, it'll be NXT because she was called up, so that'll be fascinating. About who
the last time, I will say, the last time that Io was not in my top 2 on my overall top 10 was April of 2019.
So I mean, Javaris, he's got reason to say it. He's got reason to say it. But I know you. I know how receptive you are to change. I love the way you look at things. And I know one day, and it'd be even more impressive if it was when Io was still active, but one day somebody's going to do it and be like, wow, I'm getting such Io energy, but better maybe? And like, it's going to be that exact inflection. It's going to be beautiful. But yeah, I'm actually curious to see if Starlight Kid can hold on to her spot, because I fucking adore Stardom, but man, she is just doing it for me. I can't wait to send this to her on Twitter. Hopefully she likes it. And yeah, guys, thank you. If you all liked it, please leave a like, quite literally. Show your love. Click the bell icon, subscribe so you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we got going on down in the description box below. And let's see, you can see us tomorrow at 5 for Stardom January 30th live reactions.
Did you see how long that show is, by the way?
It's 2:41.
Whoa, it's a long show. What? Okay, yes.
Dude, that's what I thought too, because it's got the double, well, I would consider a double main event with the Goddesses belts, Black Widows against Natsuko and Himeka, and of course the SWA International is main event.
Yes, and it's a 6-match show. I didn't realize they were going to have that big of a show. That's awesome.
Bro, I gotta tell you, I don't know, I'm guessing you had the same thought as I did, given that you literally just said you didn't know it was a 6-match show, but I thought it was only going to be 5, with the main event being the Goddesses belts. So when the SWA, I actually completely forgot, shame on me, by the way, all the shame on me, I forgot that the SWA International title was being defended on that show. So, yeah, that rounds out the 6 matches, and we've got Mayu's anniversary match against Saki Kashima on this show. Yes. So that's going to be really good, because I like when those two work together. So, guys, we're going to be doing that at 5. And then almost immediately after that, we're going to be going live on Twitch with another Among Us stream for post-Rumble Smackdown. I'll tell you guys right now, what I am most curious about and what I would like to try and be attentive to, because I know I wasn't attentive at all for Raw, and I do legitimately feel bad about that. I do want to see what they do with Kevin Owens. Like, Kevin Owens, to me, is the question, because Roman Reigns is the champion. The answer's going to find him. I'm curious what Kevin does now. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that. But yeah, guys, thanks again. I love doing these. And we'll see you again soon. Again, tomorrow at 5. So I'm going to hand it over to Ashton to finish the outro.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you all enjoyed our 5 Fave Fives here today. I mean, John said 2.5 hours, and it's been 2 hours and 16 minutes now. So we're keeping it succinct, baby. I mean, we're over 2 hours, but it's succinct compared to our usual for these commentaries. We hope that you all enjoyed, though. And if you did, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to join the notification squad, and of course, follow us on Twitter and Twitch. And while you're over on Twitch, if you'd like to support the channel, you can also subscribe on Twitch, buy our merch on Teespring, donate to our Patreon, and share this channel and this video with all your wrestling fan friends, and let them in on the best kept secret in the YouTube and Twitch wrestling communities. And that being said, we do have our Stardom show tomorrow, like John said, and we're going to be going live on Twitch to play Among Us if we can get enough of an audience for it tomorrow night during Smackdown. And if we can't, then we'll just play Rocket League. But we will be live on Twitch tomorrow during Smackdown, both live reacting to Smackdown and playing video games, because Smackdown's good, but it's also got commercials, and it's also not perfect. So we've got to have some way to entertain ourselves during the commercials and the imperfect stuff, or at least the less entertaining stuff. And that's what we're going to do, Among Us, if we can, or Rocket League otherwise. We hope that you're looking forward to that. Other than that, though, we don't actually have anything specifically planned for the next couple days, but Of course, you already know we will be doing our NXT review on Wednesday. And Wednesday will also be our New Beginning in Hiroshima Day 1 live reaction. Then Thursday will be our New Beginning in Hiroshima Day 2 live reaction. And we will be continuing to review Smackdowns every week this month. So we obviously we won't necessarily be able to do that tomorrow because we're going to be doing the live reaction / Among Us thing. But the other 3 episodes of Smackdown that are going to be going down this month, we will be live reacting to those, or not live reacting, sorry, live reviewing those after they're over. And we hope that you're looking forward to all those. I can't really think of anything else that's actually going to be happening within the next week or so to let you guys in on, but I will do my best to get a new schedule up before the end of the day Saturday, because the current schedule only goes out to Saturday. Until then, though, we hope that you're all able, of course, to stay tuned.